but overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like, actions speak louder than words. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris the Candyman, and tonight it's time to draft some more best ball teams on Underdog Fantasy. Currently, I am looking at the last big albatross team that I have to draft before maxing. I entered in this one a few days ago. It's a slow draft, and there's 1 minute left on until I'm up my one pick away. And so for the next minute, I'm going to wait until this hits 0 and see what my last pick's going to be from my last big albatross. It's my last chance to get a player for this tournament. And the albatross, I've got I think 8 left to go until I max that. Might be drafting some of those later tonight. I'll be maxing that out. The tournament's going to close by next Wednesday. So it's getting close, but it's only 45% filled. And our current projection shows it going into about 85% filled, just about the same as last year. Bindles, what up, my man? Thanks for coming out and checking out the show. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing good on this Saturday night. My man, Putt Daddy, what up? I'm also checking the score of this U of H game. I know it's wrapping up right now, but it looks like Duke's got it covered. I mean, it's pretty close. I've got it on my phone, so I'm just checking it at the last minute. And then, 5 seconds left. I'm pretty sure he's going to take Dustin Johnson. And he takes Harris English. So Dustin Johnson, if I want him, the big albatross, $50 entry, 10 max. I've already got one other Dustin Johnson team specifically in just my big albatross. And then I don't have any Patrick Reed, but I think I'd rather have Dustin Johnson probably just because Dustin Johnson's already guaranteed for 3 of the majors. He can't get into, I think it's the PGA. Patrick Reed would have to win some more events to lower his official world golf ranking to be able to get into the PGA. He's right outside the top 100 right now, and he's playing on the Live Tour, so he's not really a great bet to get into more than just the Masters, and I think the Open is what he's in. Cantor's doing pretty good. I've already got 2 Cantor teams, so I'm feeling all right with that. Or 1 Cantor team, and I've got 2 Pavon teams, so I'm going to go ahead and click Dustin Johnson with this one, and then that wraps up this squad for myself. In my last big albatross that I had to do, pretty sweet. Rory, Cantlay, Hatton, Connors, Cam Smith, Burns, Horschel's my most exposed player I've drafted. I've got 40% Horschel across all of my what I've done. I maxed the little to 20, and I've got 8 left for the regular. So I've done over 100 and let's say 70 drafts, and I've got 40% Billy Horschel. Sergio Garcia is a fun click. He's going to be making all of the majors this year. He's a little bit on the older side, but he's having a really good year. Cameron Young could play himself into some more majors. He's only eligible for the Masters at this point. And then based on his world golf ranking, the PGA, Dustin Johnson, of course, has a green jacket and has previously won a U.S. Open, although it's been a few years. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what's on deck for tonight. I put together, boom, a little agenda. Tonight's stream, big board drafts, plural. I'm doing at least 2 if I can help it. I've had some technical difficulties the last couple nights where after finishing the first draft, I get this woof error from Underdog. So what I did is I downloaded a new version of, I updated my Chrome, downloaded a new version of Firefox. So I'm streaming on Chrome. I'm going to draft on Firefox. And then if I have any issues, I can just exit out, restart it without having to shut down the stream. Hopefully that should overcome the issue. We already talked about the PGA best ball, so we can cross that one off the list. And then potentially get into some fast draft Origins drafts late in the night if we get some momentum or have a break from underdog for a minute, we want to check those out. Fast Draft is a new app, a new best ball app, and I think it's really cool. It's a really fun app to use. I've started to draft on it this for the first time this year, and their Origins contest is rookie only drafts where you're drafting non-positional, just running backs, quarterbacks, tight end, wide receivers. They all get flexed. You're drafting 6 of them, starting 4, and then it's really cool. It's all rookies in the Origins, so it's 10 teams. You get 6 picks, so it's 6 rounds, so you get 60 picks total, and then you get to build out your teams. There's a third round reversal that I think is pretty fun, and it goes deep on the rookies. I will say that I've learned a few new names of these rookie incoming class just from doing these Origins drafts. So I've done a few of them. They can sometimes be a little bit harder to fill depending on what time of day it is and who's entering, but that's something I want to check out later. Might show on stream, especially if I can fill one. I'll definitely draft it on stream. So that's something I've been getting into, and it's pretty fun. I got a new intro, so I just started it off, but I'll show that again a little bit later. I put together, and I'm curious to see how this goes. It's pretty sweet. It's a bunch of highlights clipped together, and I have no idea how YouTube's going to treat that, if this video is going to get taken down or whatever, if I'm going to get a strike or something. So I'll have to kind of figure that one out, but I assume it's good, that I can play that. And I've also got another Ashton Jeanty clip that I put together, which I'm going to go ahead and premiere right now. So let's check out. And then let me know if the volume, how that goes. I think it's pretty loud, so be ready to turn it down a little bit based on how my voice is coming out right now. I'm pretty sure the video clips are coming out a little bit louder than that. Let me just check this final score on the U of H game. Yeah, it seems like it's still not over. There's 30 seconds left. 64-67. I mean, hey, let's see. It could swing back in U of H's favor, but here's the Jeanty clip that I'm going to end up playing when I draft Jeanty or when we talk about Jeanty in the chat. So 3, 2, 1, clip. That's pretty hype right there. Let me know what you think about that. I think that's fun. I'm excited to do some more of those. As long as YouTube treats me all right and lets me play those kind of things, I'll keep clipping them and putting together. So I threw that together earlier today, and it was pretty fun to do. Let's see. I kind of want to wait until this U of H game wraps up before we jump into a big board. 20 seconds left. 1-point game. Should be over soon, but this is with these things, they could easily go into overtime or something. But let's go ahead and before I launch into the draft, we'll see what's going on right now with my. I guess I can look at my exposures again. I always have to find it completed. So yeah, I've done 48 scramble returns, 174 PGA majors for the season. Be maxing that out. Actually, I'm going to look at that real quick. I just want to confirm how many I have left. 7 left. I think I did one earlier today. So 7 left. Pretty excited about that. Houston Ball says Putt Daddy. Yeah, wow, that's exciting. Yeah, let me pull it up. Definitely got to watch this. Wow. But they tie it up too. Wow, that's crazy. Probably should have waited to start the stream until this game had ended, but I didn't expect it to for U of H to come back like they are. Let me take a look at. I know what I wanted to see. I've got some live teams in my PGA best ball portfolio. So I drafted 116 scramble teams, 27 advanced in the first round. So I had a pretty good advance rate, a little bit above the field, which is 1 out of 6. And then this tournament advances after the conclusion of the Valero tomorrow on Sunday. And I've got 27 teams remaining. Right now, I'm looking to advance 9. So I'm right at about a 33% advance rate, quick math, and it's a 1 out of 6 advance. So I'm doubling the field advancing, which is pretty sweet because I really prepared for round 2, round 3, and then I hammered stacks for round 4, which ends with the Open. And so I've got a bunch of teams that are actually doing pretty good in second. I've got a ton of teams in second that are close that could catch up, but looking good for my scramble teams. Round 3 will start with the Masters, and then there's 7 events in that leg and 7 events in the last leg that ends and concludes at the Open at Royal Portrush. Right, that's where we're ending up this year. Thought Houston was dead, up 1 with 17 seconds to go. Looking pretty good. That's exciting. I did some school at U of H. Went there for a bit. So, and my wife did for a bit too. So, just casual U of H fan. Kind of all of their sports. And I live in Houston, so it's always fun to represent. Let's see. As this game wraps up, I'm going to wait till the game wraps up before I kick off the draft. But as that game's concluding, I can look at a little bit more into my exposures that I was looking at yesterday. That number threw me off. That's 102 completed. I've done 50 big boards, maxed a little. I've only done one bigger and one biggest. I don't know that I'll do any more. I could do one more bigger in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure what kind of intel or news is going to drop that would make me want to do one more bigger board. But I'd feel comfortable doing up to 3 of those. I think the max is 5. Big board, sky's the limit. My goal is to do at least 50, so I'll probably aim to get somewhere around 70, maybe 75 if I'm feeling really good going into the NFL draft. Let me know in the chat, how many pre-NFL draft best ball tournaments on Underdog have you done, and kind of who are some of your higher exposures right now? I've been hammering Kyler Murray. Somehow I've got a lot of Cam Ward. I didn't think I would have as much, and I'm in on it. I think he'll potentially rise once he gets drafted just naturally. Geno Smith, I was drafting a lot more Geno, it seems, when he was still in the Seahawks because I was liking stacking him up with actually like DK and JSN at the time. That's all completely changed. Geno goes to the Raiders. JSN gets a new teammate in Cooper Kupp, and DK is out to the Steelers. So I feel like I haven't got a ton of Geno since then, which is weird because it's still 20% for me. Wow, this game's really going down to it. 2 seconds left. U of H up by 1. CJ Stroud is 16% because I've got about, I want to say my Nico is at 16%. So I'm pretty even with my Nico exposure there. One of the players that I want to draft more of is actually Lamar Jackson. And can I do it here? Can I search for the Ravens here? I can, right? Lamar Jackson is abysmally low. I don't know what happened. I think I just kind of stopped taking elite quarterbacks for a while. So that's going to be a target for me to even out my exposure in the next couple of weeks. The Bills, kind of a similar situation. Probably go a little bit harder on the Bills. Look at that Cook at 2%. The Eagles, I think, is a little bit more optimistic, although I don't have as much Hurts as I could have. It looks like a lot of little board exposure to Hurts. And who else would I want to check? Commanders. Actually pretty good on the Commanders. Was drafting a lot of Eckler early on. I got him in my biggest board, so his entry fees are souped up. Debo, I was actually drafting him a lot more on the 49ers, I think. I'm kind of cooled with his new ADP. And then Jaden Daniels, actually, I'm above the field above 8%, so I'm feeling good there. But it's hard to stack up Jaden Daniels. It just seems in my drafts, it doesn't go my way. I'm not able to get him with Terry very often. That's a pairing I really want to focus on and try to get. And then remember to draft Zach Ertz. I've been lacking on that front. Some other teams with players going in the first round, the Lions. I'm about to field the Lions. So I'm doing all right. Don't really have a lot of Laporta. Don't have really any Jameson Williams. Probably should fix that just a bit. If I look at the Falcons, too much Algier probably. Penix is about right. I think I'm high on him, but maybe I shouldn't be. He's a pocket passer, so a lot of risk there going above the field with him. London's good. Bijan is good. More pits than I'd think I would have, but that's a lot of little board pits. Wow, the final U of H wins 70-67, beating up on the Blue Devils. So go Cougs. That's fun. Let's go ahead and queue up a draft. Yeah, Pud Daddy says. How did Houston come back to win? Wow. I'm a Big 12 guy, so rooting for them. Oh, nice. Do you have any particular teams or schools in the Big 12 or a school in the Big 12 that you pull for? I'm going to go on Twitter real quick and retweet myself saying that the draft's going to start now. Okay. Yo, what up, Pat? How you doing, my man? Thanks for checking out the stream tonight. Hope you're having a great Saturday night. And hope you've had a good week so far. Putt Daddy says, KU who sucked these past 2 years. Yeah, isn't KU a basketball school? Come on, man. I always give the Jayhawks some crap. One of my best buddies is a big Rock Chalk Jayhawk fan, and I went to Texas, so I've been in the Big 12 most of my life, it seems. So always had to give them crap, but anytime KU beats Texas in football, I'm just like getting an earful. So yeah, what up, Green Bean? Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you saying what's up. Oh, James Young jumping in here. What up, brother? We're about to kick off this big board draft. We got a little bit of momentum. I know some of y'all might be looking to draft tonight. So I've been waiting a little bit. I wanted that U of H game to finish because I was kind of watching it out of the corner of my eye. But at the same time, I figured people were probably watching that, but give them a chance. Yeah, I just heard the Houston dub. Yeah, whose house? Cougs house. I went to U of H for a couple years after I finished up at Texas, and so I've got a little affinity, a little place in my heart for the Cougs. Definitely a basketball school, and I still live in Houston, so got a rep. My U of H hat, and I've got hats, I've got shirts. They're not around me, but I'd throw one on if I could. Probably should throw one on, but I don't want to wake everyone up. My whole house is asleep, so I'm not going to go rummaging through my closet. Without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm going to count it down. Are you in yet? No, I'm still on the screen. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Confirmed. Getting in. Waiting for 10. Hell yeah. Waiting for 10. That's just what I was hoping for. So y'all can jump in if you want. We should be able to fill this room. And the plan tonight is to do oops, just filled. Oh, damn, my bad. Well, that's good. It's plus EV for me if Pat's not in this room. He's going to be destroying the draft. Got a professional drafter out here. But yeah, man, maybe you can listen along and you can chill with us while you draft. Or you might be multi-tabling. You never know. a man of many talents and many drafts. The plan for tonight, maybe I can pop back over here. Boop. Plan for the night, big board drafts. Going to do at least two, I'm thinking. I just already covered the PGA Best Ball in the intro. Got a new intro, by the way. I'll be premiering that at some point again later on in the stream. And then potentially I'm going to check out, maybe after this first big board, check out some fast draft origins, see if we can maybe fill one of those. Would be pretty fun to do on stream too, I think. Interesting time of night. I mean, it's Saturday. People are out. It's late on the East Coast, but it's still early on the West Coast. So we should be able to fill this room in the next few minutes. Not many sports like you though, Chris. My man, I was bragging a little bit about myself on stream earlier. Here, let me pop over, and it doesn't really mean much, but in the Best Ball live drafts PGA, of my 27 entries that's in round 2, so we've already advanced 1 out of 6 from the first round to the second round. I'm currently advancing 9 out of 27, which is double the field. The current the advancing ratio is going to be 1 out of 6. So I'm double the field advancing into round 3 of 4. I'm hoping tomorrow I can convert, which tomorrow is the last day of the Valero as that closes. I'm hoping I can convert some of my seconds. Got a bunch of seconds. Maybe convert 1 or 2 more of those, maybe 3 more of those would be pretty sweet. And then kick some ass in round 3, which is 7 events long. And then the fourth round is 7 events as well, ends with the Open. And I purposefully stacked the hell out of my round 4 players, which you can do in season long. Dale, what up, Dale? Welcome back. Appreciate it. Welcome back to the stream, man. Just getting things kicked off this week. A lot more to come. Best Ball Mania is just around the corner. But like I was saying, in the season-long PGA, you can actually stack for certain legs of the tournament, and so I stacked players who were really good in events that are going to happen in that fourth leg, like the Open and others. And there's like the John Deere, the Travelers, all these different events, and so the whole plan there was if I can get like a few teams through to round 4 in the scramble, I'll have a really good chance of potentially placing well. I think I'd have to look. It's been so long and there's other tournaments going on, but I think the finals for the scramble, the original scramble, the final size is like, it's got to be like 280 teams. So it's not huge. All right. The draft is kicking off. Green Bean in the 12. Myself, Candyman in the 9 spot. The Sentry is a name we've seen before. Not sure if you're in the chat, but in the 7 spot. Johnny Blaze is another name I recognize, but haven't seen him come by the stream. He's in the 5 spot. We got Copper in the 3 spot. Copper's been in a bunch of these PGA Best Ball drafts, so I see him all the time in those. And then that kind of rounds it out. If you're also in this room and you're in the chat, let me know. Otherwise, we'll keep it going right here. I have the 9 spot. Okay, sweet. So this could work out perfectly. We'll see. Actually, I don't know. Genty's been going at the turn, so I would think that it's probably not the right draft to scoop up some Genty, but fingers crossed, maybe we can make it happen. Other than the usual Schefter Rory picks, who's the under the radar guy this coming week at the Masters? Oh, dude, I've got some really good intel. Rotoballer, there's a certain author at Rotoballer who does like one of the best annual articles. I retweeted it. I could pull it up. I'd have to look, but I forget his name. Can't think of it right at the moment. But he does an article about, it's like the 7 deadly sins, but it's like the 7 criteria that you have to like fit through to be able to win the Masters. And he nails it down to, I think, 16 players or 15 players out of the field that can potentially win. But by doing that method, in some years he ends up with like 6 players, some years he ends up with like 8 players, 10. he's correctly tiered the winner for each of the last 7 Masters. And so that's pretty impressive. That's a good track record. On his list, he's got guys like guys who can bomb it, guys who are aggressive, that go for it, go and push for eagles and birdies. Cameron Smith, I think, is a name. I would throw out Cameron Smith is a good name. I think could get hot and win a green jacket. And then Colin Morikawa, of course, has been really, really hot this year. So that's a name I would throw out. Cantlay is another guy who could do it. Minwoo Lee made it on the list, which was pretty interesting. So he's maybe heating up at the right time. So far, I mean, Genty goes 7 to this century. So my hopes and dreams of getting Genty at 16 are completely crushed. But let me go ahead and queue up. After I take this pick, actually, after my next pick, I got a little treat for the chat, a little Genty clip we can roll. I've got a ton of Nico. Let me go ahead and take some either Puka or Neighbors. I think I'm going to go Puka. Healthy Puka. I mean, Devontae Adams. I don't know. Maybe Neighbors. Maybe Puka. Yeah, let's just go Puka. I keep doing that. Something about being on a web browser versus my phone. I'm on the fence between 2 picks, and I just kind of let it ride, whoever was there. But I've got plenty of Nico Collins right now. Been drafting a bunch of Nico teams. I'm going to see if I can build something out with Puka. Maybe I get lucky and do a double stack with Adams, because 33 or 40 is a pretty good spot for Adams too. Yeah, so those are some of my Masters picks. If I could scroll down let me scroll down Twitter real quick, and I'll throw out that article. And then also you have the second cut. Rick Gaiman's he's like rebirthing the First Cut podcast, which is my favorite golf podcast, starting live with the Masters Mega Preview tomorrow, and he's calling it the Second Cut. So they're free of CBS now, and they're going to be starting up that new pod. So really cool. Spencer Aguiar, the 7 Deadly Sins of Augusta, and he's a Rotoballer guy. He's at Tee Off Sports on Twitter. I retweeted him recently. Really good article, fun read, quick read, getting into Masters picks. Okay. So Drake London, Ladd McConkey, Neighbors. Neighbors goes around 2. You never see that happen, but it's Amon-Ra Neighbors, so it's not that crazy. Bowers is still there. I'm going to go ahead and take CMC, I think, is what I want to do. And potentially we've got some NFC West correlation building up. I'm not afraid to take Christian McCaffrey. Draft like you're right. If you're going to take him, then just like really lean into him again. He could be he could be the best pick in the second round. But on like the flip side, he could be like the worst pick in the second round. So I'm going to try to stack up 49ers to some extent and just hope that he can be an engine for that offense. Okay. So in honor of Ashton Genty going at the 7th overall pick, I am going to roll. Oh, let's fucking go. Cougs. Whose house? Cougs house. You already know. I said I was going to throw on some of my Cougs gear, but I'd have to like traverse my whole house and wake everyone up. So shit out of luck. But I definitely have some of it around here, some hats, some shirts. Let's roll the clip. And then also protect your ears. This could be a lot louder than I'm expecting, because I'm pretty sure my mic volume's on the lower side, but this media clip's going to be loud AF. So in honor of Genty going in the first round, let's hit it. Rock with it. Hell yeah, that gets me hyped. I want to draft Genty now. This next room, after we finish this one, I'm going to be taking Genty in the first round at this rate, just so I can roll the clip again. Appreciate that. Let me know if it was too loud, how that worked out, and then fingers crossed that YouTube doesn't hate that and just take this down and strike my channel or something. I have no idea how it works, but I cobbled that together this morning. It was actually fun to do, and the more that I'm actually just using iMovie on my Mac, the more I'm using it again, it's like I'm remembering all the ways that you can clip these things together. It's been a minute. Hype clip needs to be bumped up. Okay, sweet, sweet. That's good. That's good to know. Because I can definitely bump it up. What else is going on in the second round? Bucky Irving goes pretty early. That's cool. That's an interesting spot. I mean, get a new pairing of Bucky at the same time. Maybe you can get CD over here in the front of the board and grab him with Bucky. So it's not that different, but I don't hate it. Anytime you can get Gibbs and Achane, I think it's kind of a cool start. And then Garrett Wilson, you know, who knows how he ends up with Justin Fields? Maybe he can have that like DJ Moore career year that Moore had with Fields, if I'm not mistaken. So could be good. Maybe they're drafting a dart or something. What else? Dang, Terry McLaurin goes at the 2-3 turn to the team, no badge, taking a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Terry McLaurin. That's a nice start. There's 0% chance that Jayden Daniels is going to fall to pick 48 because I wouldn't let that happen. But otherwise, dang. Okay, well, that's what sucks. I have a lot of exposure to Jayden Daniels completely unstacked with Terry, and I'm trying to bump that up. I keep seeing people stream and they're able to get in their room Terry McLaurin with Jayden Daniels. I haven't been able to get it for like 2 weeks. So I'm just like completely jealous of that. Let me make my pick here. Do I go Josh Allen? Well, I know I need some more Lamar. I think what I could do, I'm going to really lean into probably some later QBs with the guys that I'm drafting right now. I could do Breece here. That's kind of a fun pick, although I have McCaffrey. And so what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Marvin Harrison. Mike Evans was gone. I was looking for Mike Evans or Devontae. Potentially Kyron could have been a nice LA stack for me to go with, but I'll maybe go with more of a hero RB build. We'll see how it works out. Marvin Harrison's fine there. I'm really leaning into the NFC West, and then Lamar Jackson goes next. I'm having flashbacks. Lamar Jackson, Nico Collins. It's week 17, 2024, all over again. And that was one of the worst games, especially as a Texans fan. But for fantasy in general, terrible game. Texans didn't score. James Young says, I started taking Genty picks 6 to 9 to get more uncommon running back and wide receiver combos in the first 2 rounds. Genty Lad will probably be a divisional matchup. I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I know where you're going. You know, he's a Raider, and then he ends up playing against the Chargers. It's possible. That'd be fun. I think I'd have to look. I probably haven't looked at the odds for landing spots with Genty. I could look up some odds about it, where he's going to land, but it seems like the Raiders are one of the higher, likely outcomes. Hampton's another guy. I haven't seen Hampton fall to past pick 40 in ages, it feels like. And then everyone else is getting him super late. I'm not going to take Jayden Daniels because I don't have Terry, and that's the pairing I'm going for. I've got enough unstacked Jayden Daniels. Other than that, I could go Jameson. I don't have enough Jameson. So let me just take Jameson Williams here. Could take Rice. Rice is a good pick. I'm going to go with JMO. Bring in some Detroit. Bring in a spike week guy. Hey, he had that third-year breakout. Maybe he's onto something. He was always a really good prospect. I remember the year that Jameson Williams was coming into the NFL. He had just torn his ACL, right? He torn his ACL in the national championship game at Alabama, and then in one of my dynasty leagues, I take him at like the 105, and I thought it was the best value ever. Sat on him for 2 years. He didn't do anything. Traded him away right before last season for a second round pick that ended up being like, I think it was a 206 or 7. So not even a great pick. And then I turned that into, I'd have to look, but I remember not liking who I ended up getting with that pick. In the same league, though, at the 305, I got Bucky Irving. So it all works out in the end. Sometimes trading these players who people still are really attached to that really haven't produced much yet is the best way to just get some future draft picks, rebuild your team a little bit, have more bullets in the chamber to take shots at get guys like Bucky in the 3rd round. And yeah, Jaden Daniels goes 44, really close to making it back to Terry. That would have been scary Terry with Jaden Daniels and Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins. That would have been a freaking monster of a team. So to start this draft, I've got 3 wide receivers, 1 running back, and Christian McCaffrey went Puka, Marvin Harrison, and Jameson Williams. This is definitely a unique combination for me. Haven't drafted a lot of Jameson Williams, so feeling good so far. What else is going on? I would say Green Bean grabbing Hampton. That's one of my favorite picks right now in the 4th round, kind of across the entire 4th round, wherever you can get them. So no surprise here. The drafter in the 1 spot takes Joe Burrow, and then Ken Walker. I kind of like that's a good start. I like that so far. Nothing wrong with that. I wonder though. It's like, would you try to push Burrow back to pick 72 and just risk it for the biscuit? Try to get like this nuts team that you really can't get very often because, especially with the team. Let's check it out. Chase Brown. Okay, so Green Bean gets Chase Brown in the 12 spot. I would venture to say, based on his current wide receivers, he probably would take Joe Burrow at pick 60 and then just ride out a Chase Brown, Joe Burrow team. Maybe not. I probably would, rather than letting Joe Burrow go all the way back around. But then the odds that someone takes a naked Burrow is probably decent in this room. It's pretty badged up, so maybe it wouldn't. But that would be like a really unique combo, pushing Joe Burrow once you've got Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins. I don't even know if once I had enough teams where I've got Ja'Marr and Higgins and then Burrow already, that's when I would, in the 4th or the 5th, that's when I would really start to try to attempt that. But Bo Nix goes pick 54, something you don't see every day. I can't say I hate it. I mean, if he's your guy, make it work. If there's someone else in pick 78, I guess that you would also want to get, that when taking Bo Nix at 78 or even like 91, you couldn't pair him up with. I think it's I mean, it's a huge reach, but Bo Nix could put up a ton of points. He has the rushing upside. Maybe Mr. Mention is something we don't. I'm tempted to go Tet here. I'm trying to think if there's any other stacks that I should be worrying about with the players I've already got. I think I'm going to go Tet here. Queue up Jennings. He could be there for my next pick. Laporta, Montgomery. The San Francisco. Then it's Pearsall at 70. Pearsall's ADP's a little bit off-putting for me. I don't have a ton of him right now because of that, but he's got the spike week potential. I don't think I would take Pearsall at 64. That seems like a huge reach. And I don't love Jennings, but I mean, he had one of the best spike weeks last year. It just feels like it's chasing 2024 outcomes for 2025. But I'll take a falling Tet. 57 is a nice spot. I'm used to taking Tet in kind of this 4 to 5 turn range. Also saw Zay Flowers fall to an early pick in the 5th round. That you don't see that every day. And the thing about Debo is I keep forgetting to stack him up with Jaden Daniels, even when I do draft Daniels. And am I really in on Debo? Maybe around 5, 6 price tag is not too bad. We talked about this last night. Would you reach for McLaurin and Daniels at the 2-3 turn in the 1 spot? It's possible. I mean, that's pretty rich to do that. I think I think you're better off maybe trying doing that at like the end of this tournament when it's about to close. If you don't have enough of those combos already, where they naturally go in rounds 3 and 4, and then for like Best Ball Mania, things can change. Players can shift around. I think I would wait there, kind of the same thing. Try to get it where you can before reaching for it, and then if you need to get different and reach for it later as the tournament's closing, you could always do that. Jennings, Laporta. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jennings here. It feels kind of stupid not to take Alvin Kamara or Quinshon Judkins or Calvin Ridley, but I'm gonna see if I can really lean into the 49ers just a bit. And probably should take Jennings there. Pearsall could have fallen to the next pick, but then yeah, Purdy's been going around 105 if I remember correctly. Yeah, I can easily get Purdy here. I just need to kind of block out those other drafters from taking some key skill position players. I'm looking at the board and 3 wide receivers, 4, 2. Copper's only got 2 wide receivers through 5 rounds. So he could be someone looking to grab like a Jennings and then potentially grab a Purdy pick. Same thing with the drafter in the 4 spot. Only 3 wide receivers. And then in the 5 spot, 2 wide receivers. So there's a few teams here that are needing a round 6 wide receiver. If I didn't take Jennings, someone else might have, and then that just makes it riskier to get my Purdy stack, having to push Purdy past them in round 9 as it comes back left to right. But I mean, honestly, it's like I'm not necessarily just taking Juwan Jennings over Alvin Kamara. I'm taking a wide receiver in round 6 that I potentially can't get the output from, or the spike week from, or the team correlation from later in the draft. That's the opportunity cost where I can potentially get an RB2 later in the draft, someone who can finish in the running back, 13 to 24 range, which I think is what the tier that Alvin Kamara should be in. Same with like Najee. That's something that I can find later in the draft. Maybe it's getting close. I think the tier of kind of those RB2s is about to dry up, but that RB2, 3 kind of mixed tier is definitely something you can hit around pick 80, 88, maybe even some of those like later RB3 guys, pick 105, like a Ramondre or something. So that's the way I can justify it to myself. Like, why would you ever take Juwan Jennings over Alvin Kamara? It's really the opportunity cost that, and positionally, like, what can you get later that you can't get right now? Ricky Pearsall goes pick 72. So he definitely wasn't going to come back around to pick 81. And I'll have to keep an eye on Purdy going with 96, 97. Usually people who take Burrow early aren't afraid of grabbing another quarterback in the quarterback pocket in these rounds 8, 9, 10. So it wouldn't be like that unheard of for him to try to stack up Pearsall with a Purdy. It's right now, I'm especially concerned because he only has Bengals, which are stacked up, McLaurin, who he can't stack with Daniels, and then he's got Pearsall. So now I'm a bit worried on Purdy. What I can do is, if I relook at my team, I don't exactly know where Ted's going to go, so that doesn't help me. But I could grab a Goff or a Kyler, and then obviously there's Matt Stafford late that I could try to get. I just don't think I'm going to take Purdy at pick 88. It's just not really worth it. I'd rather push it. Khalil Shakir at pick 78 to me is not a great pick. In PPR formats, I think I'm more down for it, but the downside risk for Shakir, I think, is a lot, especially if the Bills draft a wide receiver in on day 2. Okay, structurally, I should be taking a running back here, and I could take Caleb or Aaron Jones, who I'm not fully out on. Luther Burden, I've already got Tet, so let me just stick with Tet for now. Travis Hunter might come back around. Same thing with Egbuka. What would Hawk do for this team? That could be nice on the other side. But I have Christian McCaffrey. I really could push this again and grab one of these receivers, but let me take Caleb Johnson, take a swing on one of these rookies. That way, whatever happens around the corner, I'm gonna probably be able to get. And I don't think I want Aaron Jones anymore. So Josh Downs could be sweet. Maybe reach a little bit for Kyler. If all of these skill position guys are gone, that could be something to do. Let me pull up the board. Green Bean's making his picks. And after I take Caleb Johnson at pick 81, Luther Burden goes, Brandon Ayuk goes. See, that's the thing. Brandon Ayuk's there, but I'm kind of treating it like he's not there. I don't want to really be drafting him coming off that catastrophic knee injury, whether it was really bad or not that bad. I just don't want to draft players who aren't healthy. There can always be setbacks. We don't have a lot of information. It's really, really, really early in the offseason to know much. So I'm kind of avoiding Ayuk right now at its current price. It's around 7. I mean, to pay up for a guy that could be missing games or maybe comes back and has this off year or a slow year. That's why I take Jennings here. Travis Hunter goes. I probably would have taken Travis Hunter on the thumbnail. So I've already got, I'm already leaning into that there. Do I take Kyler, give myself a little bit of a cushion, start stacking up the Cardinals, even though he's my most drafted player, literally? Or do I take Hawk here, give myself a nice tight end that I maybe can't get later? I'm going to go Kyler, I think. And then tight end wise, if I'm hoping to get Purdy with my next pick, which is going to be 105, that means I would have to wait until 112 to get tight end. I already can't get McBride, and I don't have Kittle. Actually, I should have thought about where Kittle had gone. Kittle goes to Soccer 7MP. Completely forgot about Kittle earlier. If he would have been there for my pick, I would have taken Kittle over Tet, though, and then I potentially could have also had Jennings or passed on Juwan Jennings there. But him taking Patrick Mahomes, to me, is kind of nice because he's going to be potentially less focused on grabbing another quarterback with that pick. Sometimes there's a chance that Mark Andrews falls back around here. I already know Kelsey's going to be gone at 104 with Matt Mahomes, so that's somewhat protecting him from taking Purdy from me. Tucker Kraft goes at pick 93. There's been a few reaches, weird picks so far in this draft, like Bo Nix at 54. Zay Flowers fell to pick 50, and then there's Tucker Kraft going at pick 93. It looks like the drafter in the 4 spot is potentially just kind of filling out a starting roster, which is a bit weird, but if you really believe in Tucker Kraft, I mean, now you got to try to stack him up with Jordan Love. I would think that would be your goal. Let's see. And then taking Kyler ahead of Patrick Mahomes, I really don't mind that because I'm stacking up with Marvin Harrison, making a bet on the Cardinals. I don't really see. Otherwise, I'd have to go Mahomes and then Kelsey. That's kind of going in a new direction. Maybe it would work out for me. I think I don't really have a ton of Mahomes. When I do take Mahomes, I double stack them with Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice and or Kelsey as much as I can. things are looking good for Purdy coming back. I'm going to cross my fingers. So let's hope it works out. And Justin Fields, a guy I haven't drafted since his ADP was in the triple digits. And by that, I mean like 180, 150, whatever it was. As Justin Fields has now gone in round 9 and 10, I'm not really interested at his current price until we see what happens in the NFL draft. What happens if they take Jackson Dart and then Fields has a bad game or two and they bench him? He's losing time, not a starter. Drafting a player who's going to give you some dead weeks in round 9 is not like going to tank your team, but I'd rather be swinging for upside than all of the potential risk of a Justin Fields at the moment. Also, without having Garrett Wilson, a naked Justin Fields when you already have Burrow, to me, is not necessarily my favorite. So I would take Purdy first and then wait on Goff. I don't necessarily need Goff for Jameson Williams, but having Purdy with Jawan Jennings and McCaffrey would be ideal. And then, in this universe, in this draft, McCaffrey's going to be the RB1 or RB2, RB3 in the season. And so knowing that I'm right about that in this situation for this one particular draft, I definitely want to have Purdy with him. And I also can relax on drafting other running backs for a bit because, I've got it locked down. I've got a top running back. I'll take a lot more upside kind of later swings at running back. My wide receiver room, in my mind, this is pretty stacked. I mean, I've got 5 wide receivers through the first 64 picks, all spread across different teams. NFC West, you got some NFC North. Tet is probably going to NFC South. Maybe he's going to the Saints or the Panthers. Could be fun landing spot for him. I think I could take a tight end here, though. I'm kind of surprised Kelsey's still there. And do I take Johnny Smith over Kelsey? It's like, I don't know. I really don't know. I guess so. How many seasons has Johnny Smith ever been relevant over Travis Kelce, we all know Travis Kelce? I think people are just sick of Travis Kelce and potentially hating on him a little bit, although he is old. So it's like Travis Kelce. I don't know. If you're hanging out in the chat and you want to give me a vote, Jonnu Smith for my tight end 1 or Travis Kelce, they're probably both going to be there. What would you do? Just making sure I'm not like overlooking another obvious pick here. There's no Cardinals or 49ers in this range that I should be drafting. I could pass on Charbonnet. He's an RB2 in his own offense. Chiefs fan would go Jonnu, says Putt Daddy. 1 vote for Jonnu. I'm kind of leaning Jonnu anyways. If he's really the number 2 target in that offense, again, maybe it pays off. I'll mix it up. I'll mix it up and take Jonnu there. What up, Hartman? How you doing this fine Saturday night, my friend? Hope you've had a good start to your weekend. And let me know, are you out here drafting in these streets? Are you chilling? What's going on? I'm planning to do at least one more big board after this one. And then also might be looking at here's the schedule. Boom. Okay, big board draft. We're going to do at least 2. PJ Best Ball, we've already covered that. Fast Draft Origins, which is a really interesting format for Best Ball and something that I want to get into on stream a little bit. As long as I can fill one, I would draft a Origins draft on here with y'all. Fast Draft's a new app. It's my first year using it, and I'm having a lot of fun. They've got a few contests out there. One of them is called Origins. It's rookie only. It's 60 picks, 6 rounds with 10 teams. There's a 3rd round reversal, full PPR, weeks 1 through 17, season long, total scoring. and you only draft rookies. And so I think it's a really interesting concept and fun. And there's a few other twists to go with it, but you're not drafting positions to fill out a roster. You're just drafting all flex. So you could have a team of all running backs, a team of all quarterbacks, a team of all whatever. And what that tells me is like, why would you even draft a tight end if you didn't have to? So I see people taking, uh, Warren or Loveland or even like Mason Taylor or Harold Fannin, where you typically would in a normal format where there is a designated tight end spot. Like they still are like holding that ADP, which to me is bonkers. Like draft like a Raheem Sanders. Rocket Sanders could be a huge, breakout player, or just any of those late guys, any of those late running backs. What is the real ceiling for a tight end, even in full PPR? A rookie tight end. I mean, we're expecting two of the rookies to go in the first round. The hit rate on those guys to have a tight end one fantasy season within their first 3 years is like 80%. Tight ends drafted in the first round, about 80% will give you a tight end one return within their first 3 years, but not necessarily in the first year. So being like a best ball format where the only year that counts is this year, it's crazy to me that you'd even draft a tight end. So in my rankings, I threw tight ends way, way, way back in that format. So I never get tight ends. And then I think it's because there's a lot of dynasty bros in there, and they are still in that mindset where it's like, oh, tight ends are, really important, and you want to draft them and all these things. I don't get it at all. So most of my teams look like 4 to 5 running backs, maybe one wide receiver, two wide receivers, toss in quarterbacks if they fall to me. But the quarterbacks are a little bit expensive. And if you have a quarterback who sits out even 1 game, 2 games, it's season long total scoring. So that's like devastating. I'd rather have a running back who's getting touches every week. So something else we'll get into, it's Fast Draft. Check it out. If you're new to it, I can tell you more about it and get you a discount code. They're actually doing $50 match as well. And so if you use code GARAGE on Fast Draft when you sign up, they'll do $50 match. And I'm hoping to do some of those on stream. So hopefully you guys are getting into that app too and think it's fun, think it's cool, and we could stream some and do some together. The only issue so far is they're somewhat hard to fill the rooms when you're not drafting at like peak hours. I don't love taking Tootin as my running back 3 here. I could do Trey Benson, but it's a bit of a reach. So I might be going back and doing wide receiver with Higgins. Pick 129. I should be looking for... Yeah, let's do Higgins. I think I'm surprised because a few of these other quarterbacks came back around into this range that I wasn't expecting. And then DeAndre Swift fell a good amount. Scatterbo fell a little bit, but probably would have liked a Tank Bigsby there. Higgins is fun. His ADP is rising, but I mean, you want to chase guys that are rising up the board and you're hearing good things about him in his draft capital. Hartman's always drafting, mostly scooping that DK overlay right now. I feel that. There's a lot of talk of overlay going on. Yeah, exactly. I think so. And I have Warren ranked like 5 spots past the ADP, like down, and I have Loveland like 3 or 4 spots past ADP. So I don't really get them. I haven't gotten them yet. I haven't drafted a tight end in that format yet. Really heavy on the running backs. And there's some interesting like ADP arbitrage going on. If you look at, obviously it's PPR, it's season long total scoring. But if you look at where certain rookie running backs go in underdog big boards compared to the Fast Draft Origins rookie only draft, like they have Ollie Gordon really high. He's like a top 20 pick. And versus underdog, Ollie Gordon goes a lot later than that. Okay, so I definitely need a running back. Kind of surprised Trey Benson went there at 135. Kind of pissed that guy sniped me on that. What the hell, man? But he's not really critical to this team. He didn't really catch passes anyways. Other running backs I could take? No. Let's go Tootin here. And I don't know. That feels fine. I'm building out a Christian McCaffrey hero RB squad, if you can call it that. I think Caleb Johnson at pick 81, an unknown rookie. We don't know his landing spot. I'd probably call this a hero build. Green Bean grabs Trey Harris. I almost took Trey Harris over Jaden Higgins. It's a toss-up, coin flip. Could have done both. He grabs Michael Penix to go with his Drake London that he snagged in round 1. Otherwise, he's got Herbert on his team with Lad McConkey. So Green Bean doing his thing. Some nice double stacked some nice stacks. He got two stacked quarterbacks. Penix and Herbert. So that's fun. I like that. Those are two pocket passers that I think can blow up and have really, really good years. Javonte Williams goes pick 137. I'm not in love with that pick. Honestly, wouldn't do that. QJ is a fun pick, good pick there. I wonder, Green Bean, if you're out on Quentin Johnson or if you were considering taking him over Trey Harris. Stroud finally goes. That annoys me that someone gets such a good value on CJ Stroud. It's not the Nico team, though. It is the CeeDee Lamb team. The Nico drafter took Lamar and then passed on CJ Stroud twice to stack up Isaiah Likely, which is fine. They already had Bateman, but I guess I see where you're going. Anytime you can have Lamar Jackson's third favorite and fourth favorite target, you've definitely got to do it. But Trey Benson on his team would have been better on my team. At the same time, Trey Benson doesn't really catch passes, and maybe I'm just hoping for Kyler to steal some of those red zone scrambles, touchdowns. Dylan Sampson, I think that's another guy who's highly ranked in Fast Draft Origins, who is a little bit later ranked here. If you're a big Cam Scatabo guy, you can get him really, really cheaply in the Origins. His ADP, it started at like 30 and it's creeping down to it's in like the 22 or 20 range. The last time I checked, I've drafted Cam Scatabo on like almost every team I've drafted, and then Tootin you can also get. I'm pretty sure Tootin's still going in like the 40s in that format. So it's just interesting. It's interesting to check out how different ADPs go on different sites, whether you're on DraftKings, Drafters, Underdog, Fast Draft, or any other. It's always really kind of insightful to look around, see what other people are doing, thinking on other sites. I typically think Underdog ADPs are pretty sharp, but at the same time, this is a different format. You have week 15 and 16 and 17 you have to worry about that are single weeks that are so valuable. And then it's half PPR too. Never been a QJ believer, to be honest. I see him. Williams returns as I got you. And then Luther Burden at ADP 107 on DraftKings, which is crazy, isn't it? Or do they know something we don't know? Are we blinded by some kind of love for Luther Burden? I like Luther Burden. I'm drafting Luther Burden. The dude's a stud. Sophomore year breakout at Mizzou. I think he'll be good. I take with wide receivers. I really take the breakout age seriously. Like what's their true sophomore season breakout is impressive. Let's see if this works out for me. I didn't want to take Tyler Algier. I've got way too much Tyler Algier. I've drafted a ton of them. I should have looked before this. I thought, okay, I remember correctly. The Devontae Adams drafters on my left. So I feel good about what I did here. Grabbing DJ Giddens a little bit ahead of schedule. This is typically where that running back run goes. It starts around Jerome Ford. Maybe you could throw, Tootin into that, but Samson, Dowdle, Spears falls, but he should be falling. Garindo, I don't know about that pick. DJ Giddens, Wright, Davis, Algier. Do a quick query on the cards, right? No one I need there since I didn't get Benson. What about the San Francisco, right? There's no one I should be worried about there anytime sooner at all. Dobbins is still there. He's been falling. People are uncertain about where he's going to land, where he's going to go. I could grab Dobbins here and have a great value. Oh, I saw the purple and I almost cried a tear because I thought it was going to be Matt Stafford getting sniped from me. Dude, I'm taking Stafford here. Anytime you can get your first overall pick, Puka Nacua, stacked up with the man, Matthew Stafford himself. Even though he's getting pretty old, he's got some gray hairs. Round 14. Stack him up, baby. Yeah, back on Luther Burden. That's a pretty appetizing ADP. I think Burden goes at the end of round 1 or super early in the first 10 picks in round 2 and is going to be potentially a steal. He had that true breakout when he was, I want to say he was 19 at Mizzou when he did that. Let me grab my mock draft list real quick. Zoom in just a bit more so I can see it. Okay. So where could Luther Burden land? If he's going to the back of the first round in the NFL draft, maybe the Texans. Although I like them going with someone like Josh Simmons, like a tackle, or we could see, or maybe Kelvin Banks, actually. We could see the Commanders going with a receiver. I don't know if they will since they traded for Debo. I think the whole point of getting Debo is they weren't forced to take a receiver now in the draft really early, and I think they need some defensive help. They've lost some talent on their front line, like on the edge, defensive end. Buffalo could be a spot for a receiver at 30, and then it's wheels down for Keon Coleman. So I'm not drafting a lot of Keon Coleman. The Chiefs, I don't think they'll go wide receiver, but who knows? It would tell us a lot about how they feel about not only Rashee Rice's legal situation, but his injury and recovery. And then Kelsey. Eagles could be a landing spot, which would be actually bad for Burden, I think, considering it's so crowded. Round 2, you could have the Browns with the first overall pick in round 2 take Burden. That would be a really sweet landing spot. And as long as they've got Kirk Cousins there to throw to him or someone that can actually pass the ball. Put Daddy says, I remember how Dortch last year was a popular pick. Yeah, holy shit. Drafting Greg Dortch. Let's just forget about that one. I've drafted a lot of players that I want to forget about, and that's one of them. But I didn't have a lot of Dortch last year, but I've definitely drafted him. Overly hate on him for being worse this year, but if that Mizzou offense as a whole was pathetic, it was pathetic. It was laughable, not a good offense, and yeah, it's like, what's he going to do? He can't. I mean, he stuck around for one more year. He fell off a little bit, but there's been a lot of players who have had a super young breakout age, and then they miss a season, fall off a little bit, or sit out. I'm talking about Jamar Chase sat out his COVID year. JSN was injured after he put up his best season. Damian Martinez. I can't just keep drafting these rookies, can I? Wide receiver wise, I need to put in the brakes on for a little bit. So I'm looking at maybe tight end or, okay, I need to queue someone up. Braylon Allen. Damon Martinez. I don't want Eckler. I was kind of hoping Corum would be there for me. Let me grab Braylon Allen instead because why not? I'm not really big on Braylon Allen though. He was actually good. He's a really young guy, second year guy, coming out of Wisconsin. If I'm remembering correctly, I remember watching him a little bit in college football. Seemed like he had a big, powerful back kind of disposition, so big power running style. Oh, it was Zach Ertz. I put a reminder to draft Zach Ertz before this one started. I would have taken Blake Corum or Zach Ertz had they been there. Braylon Allen is a fine consolation. Looking at my squad, oh shit, I just remembered something else too. But he'll be there. The guy I'm thinking of, another tight end that I can add to my squad is going to be there at pick 201. So I can probably pause on tight end here, get him a little bit later where it makes sense because right now there's been a run on tight ends. We'll see if someone falls here, but I should be looking at running back, wide receiver, and a running back that's probably not a rookie, maybe more of a veteran player, or I could go wide receiver. I don't really have any great stacking partners right now. Save that one for later. I don't know if I'd want Martinez on this team or Gordon. Damn, it's all who's left is just these rookies. So do I push it? Take a tight end here like Freiermuth? I mean, hand up, if Aaron Rodgers ends up in Pittsburgh, doesn't Freiermuth become a lot more attractive? The guy can put up some numbers. I think I'd do that just for the sake of the value. It's not really a great ADP value. It's pretty average. But based on my team build, okay, I mean, I don't have any Steelers. Where else could I go with this pick? Let's think about this. This is not really a crucial pick, but I don't want to get it wrong. Swapped for Alec Ayomanor last second. I think he and Jaden Higgins are a lot closer in potentially real NFL circles than we have them right now in fantasy circles. So I'm doing a little bit of, um, you know, one of these two guys could pay off in a big way. I took one super early at pick 129, and then I've gotten one later at pick 184. So that's kind of balancing out a little bit. I didn't even realize how much I had reached on Jaden Higgins. Pick 129. Why did I do that again? Because he wouldn't have been there at pick. He could have been there pick 36. I just would have been able to get Trey Benson potentially over Tootin, but I'm fine with Tootin over Benson. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. I guess 53. Not a good chance he'd be back there, and I like having Giddens on my team too. I'm pretty high on Giddens. Giddens or Giddens. DJ Giddens, Jaden Higgins. Higgins said it again. Higgins is a dog. I would agree. Yeah, it was short king summer. We all got caught up in it. Braylon's good value, basically the same bet as a backup running back to go in the 150, 170 range. That's what I'm saying. What's the difference between Trey Benson and Braylon Allen? That's what I'm saying. Well, the difference is Trey Benson is stacked on. I have the Cardinals, stack going on. So that, but the price difference is huge. I mean, that's like a 1, 2, 3, at least 3 rounds difference. So I couldn't have taken Austin Eckler there. I just can't do it. I've got way too much Austin Eckler. Every time I have Jaden Daniels, I'm stacking him with Austin Eckler because that's the only guy who I remember to draft at that point. At that way later, everyone else gets sniped. People are pretty high, I guess, on the Commander skill position players. I mean, they should be. Watching the Commanders in the playoffs was pretty electric last year. Shedeur goes. There's more hype since Shedur's pro day. I was never fully in or fully out on Shedeur. I want to be right at the field on Shedeur. I don't think he can win you much in this type of tournament. His price is cheap though. So if he's like a super surprise, has like a CJ Stroud type of season, maybe he does pay off. Jackson Dart, I think, is a savvy pick. We'll probably start to see him rising up boards. He goes way early in this one. But it just didn't make a lot of sense for me to take Pat Freiermuth on this team because I'm not really making any bets on the Steelers. And, the fact that I can get, oh God, Ollie Gordon's still there. Do I take Ollie Gordon? I mean, what would you do? Besh, Royals. I'm going to pass. Rashad Smith, JT, Sanders. Elijah Mitchell could be interesting. Did I get it? Okay, I got it. I'm going to lock it down. I'd rather have another LA pass catcher confirmed, stacked up with Matt Stafford and Puka. Just give myself one more angle there than to go out on a limb with another rookie running back when I already have so many. It's kind of my thought process there. Yes, Tyler Higbee almost certainly would be there at pick 208, but you never know. The drafter right after me only has 2 tight ends. Green Bean's only got 1. Regardless of the fact that I know who Green Bean is, I wouldn't trust anyone in the 12 spot with 2 picks coming up in between my next one that has 1 tight end to not take Higbee. Maybe Green Bean doesn't even like Higbee, but I'm just kind of playing it as if, in any situation, what I would do there. And I don't have to take Ollie Gordon. What can Elijah Mitchell do? He hasn't had a good season in a while. He hasn't been used a lot heavily in a while. Better to get your guys when you don't have a strong conviction on a different player, 100%. And draft capital doesn't matter at this point. It's get your guys, in my mind, after round 13. Round 14 is like, just get your guys. Go ahead. So after we're in round 18, in 3 weeks, round 18 is going to be our last pick. So I've been talking about this a little bit. Players you see going in round ADP in round 19 and 20 now aren't going to be available. So certain players that are going in round 17 and 18 are going to be undrafted, and some guys are going to move up. Just positionally, it's going to make sense that way. Gosh, I don't love this spot for running backs. Is this stupid? I'm trying to think about other Jay Witt. Jay Witt could be good. Obviously, the Rams, he's like really low on the totem pole, but injuries happen. This is the exercise I need to do. Is like, what running backs do I really want remaining? I'm pretty rookied out, except for Jarquez. I could take Jarquez. I don't have enough LeQuint. That could be a fun pick. Higbee is fine, but I wasn't going to take him there. Yeah, and I'm not surprised you wouldn't take him there based on your team build. Conklin makes a ton of sense for you with Herbert, but I got to play it as if what I would do in any situation. You never know. Someone could double tap tight end there, like I did here. I potentially was thinking of taking Harold Fannin Jr. Ended up going to Tavian Sanders, just pivoting, giving myself a little bit more variability in who I'm drafting because I've got way more Harold Fannin than I do JT Sanders. And then now let's think, what are the odds? But if Tet goes to the Panthers, it could be a spot where he ends up. I'm going to review my team quickly as we get into the last 2 picks. I've got a 3-5-7-3 build, so I'm in a prime position to either take a running back or 2 or a receiver. I don't think I'll stop with 5 running backs because of the nature of the rookies that I've taken. I definitely want to go at least 6. So 3-5-7-3. Mitchell's such a wild card with Pacheco and Hunt coming back. 100% agree. And how many seasons have we all drafted a Kansas City running back that does nothing and is a dead roster spot? I can name, 2 or 3 KC running backs over the last couple of years that have been complete duds. I like Lloyd and Keaton as late RB bets. Lloyd was hyped last year and got unlucky with injuries and burst appendix. I would agree with that. That's a fun one. Marshawn Lloyd. I don't think I've been drafting him yet this off season. I may have taken him once or twice. Boom. Copper Prices snagged him. That was funny. As soon as I queued him, he was gone. Hilarious. That's a bit right there. Who's the other one you said? Keaton. I'll think about Keaton. I'll think about that. Rip. Tend to lean towards reaching when I need to secure the stacks that they feel vital to my build. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like I said, there's no reaching once you get past round 14, 15, 16, really. Pick your round that you consider as the break. Draft capital allocation wise, I think it's round 14, 15, but this is a 20 round draft versus an 18 round draft, so it kind of changes a little bit. Does it really matter though? Okay. 3-5-7-3. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Matt Stafford. I've got double stacked Purdy, double stacked Stafford. Kyler is the guy that I could lean into again. Is Michael Wilson there? He is not, which is fine. Jeez. Jarquez, Antonio Gibson. I'm gonna hold off on Gibson. Boom. I'm gonna go Horton. Shit ton of rookies on this one. 1, 2, 3 rookie running backs, 4 rookie wide receivers. Tight end room's already done, so I'm good there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want Elijah Mitchell. I just believe in Torrey Horton. So I'm definitely done at wide receiver with those 8 because my wide receiver room was already my strong point. And so unfortunately, not like I needed Michael Wilson. I think it gets replaced this season anyhow. But should I have taken Demarcus Robinson? Nah. Should I have taken... Oh, it's because I had queued up Jordan Whittington and he wasn't there. That's the reason why I was like, there was someone else. There was some other terrible wide receiver that's no good that potentially could stack up on this team. It makes sense, but wasn't meant to be. 3-5-8-3. It's my last pick coming up. Green Bean goes with a late Theo Johnson and Devon Vele. Running backs. Let's focus in. Who would make sense with Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford, and 3 rookie running backs? One of them is going to get a lot of draft capital, probably a day 2 guy, Caleb Johnson, most certainly a day 2 guy. Got McCaffrey, who's going to be my stud. Braylon Allen is contingent upside and, could have a 2-touchdown game. I think he had one last season. He had one good game. Kendre Miller time. Is it Kendre Miller time? I would venture to say I'm a little bit more in on Kendre than Keaton Mitchell. Sean Tucker, I don't know. Have you guys been drafting Jaleel McLaughlin? I have not, but it's kind of an interesting one. Roshan is kind of dead to me. Kimani Vidal is maybe interesting. Devin Singletary could be interesting. Let's just go with Kendre Miller. That feels fun. I've been a big Kendre Miller fan for years. The injuries going into the national championship was a shame. His rookie year was squandered. Last season, maybe he gets back in the good graces. And then obviously Alvin Kamara doesn't really see the important touches and snaps, but anything can happen. I like that Kendre pick in the last round. I don't have enough Kendre yet. That's a decent spot. Chubb probably gives you a guaranteed week 1 touches. Yeah, it's tough for me. I got lucky. So I had 0 Chubb last year, exposure-wise. The season before, I had drafted 1 Chubb in Best Ball Mania 3, and that was the season he wrecks his knee. And so I had pretty much faded Chubb then and got lucky, and I haven't really drafted him since. So I could see that though. The thing that I kind of missed out on was if you noticed earlier, if you were here for it, J.K. Dobbins goes pick 163. I passed on him for Matt Stafford, but even at pick 153, that could have been interesting. Maybe he's landing spot dependent, and being on the Chargers was like his best case scenario. I like Giddens as it is. I think Giddens could be a big riser. This is the kind of running back profile. He's a potential workhorse 3-down back that could really rise and jump up from pick 153, 160 range up to Charbonnet range. Maybe that's aggressive. Scatabo range. With all of the rookie running backs, your biggest risk is falling behind in the early season points, and you've already built a massive upside with the young guys. Yeah, for sure. I would 100% agree. Let's review the team now that the draft's over, and we can review green beans as well. And then we'll do a quick check to see what's going on with the fast draft, and maybe we can jump in an Origins draft. They only take 9 minutes to complete. It's really fun. I mean, it's fast draft faster. You already know. So we can check that out as a little intermission before our next big board. Even though it's midnight here Central Time, I mean, it's Saturday night. Y'all are here. Let's party. 3683 build, Kyler Murray stacked up with my 3rd round pick, Marvin Harrison Jr. So let's go there. I don't think I have any other Cardinals. Brock Purdy double stacked with CMC himself and Juwan Jennings. That one feels good. Matthew Stafford double stacked with my 1st overall pick, Puka Nacua, and then I got the tight end Tyler Higbeast to round that one out. Little bit of ADP value there. I would say this is the kind of quarterback room, in my experience, if you're going to have 3 quarterbacks versus 2, this is the kind that can get it done. Stafford has a really, really low ceiling, so you're essentially just hoping that week 15, 16, or 17, Puka goes nuts and drags Stafford up with him, but he's never going to be a QB1 season long. I'm going to need Kyler or Brock to step up and do that. McCaffrey, draft like you know you're right, is my anchor, my hero running back. I've got Caleb Johnson, who right now I'm projecting Caleb Johnson to go round 2 in the NFL draft, or round 3, actually. Round 3 to someone like the Cleveland Browns. If he does that, he's contending with Jerome Ford for touches, but I think he would win out. Caleb Johnson, I will say, though, is one of the rookie running backs that I know a little bit less about. I just kind of listen to what everyone else is saying, follow the ADP. So if you have any good Caleb Johnson takes, let me know. It's a tough room. Nice overall team considering you had to assemble roster concept on the fly. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's see. Let's keep reviewing it. I think it turned out nicely. I went a little bit heavy on the rookies, but I'm believing in this one that McCaffrey hits. He's like putting up 20, 22 points on average a week kind of deal and really paying off. And so in that way, I'm only looking for an RB2 because as we get to the wide receivers, I'm going to be flexing a wide receiver literally 9 out of 10 weeks with this build. Tootin, we'll see where he lands. Compared to my mock, I've got Tootin going. Let me just do a control F real quick. One of my recent mocks that I've got downloaded, it's a seven round mock. I've got Tootin going a little bit later in the 4th round, so not loving that. And it shows him going to the Ravens in this one. So that would kind of suck, actually. But Giddens, let me just do a quick comparison for him, and then I'll go through this a little bit faster on the wide receivers. We'll get to Green Bean's team real quick. I've got Giddens going around for the Patriots, which would also kind of suck. Or actually, I don't know, could be good. Maybe he beats out Ramondre. Ramondre Stevenson was a 4th-round pick, and is maybe losing a grasp on that role. Patriots take a step forward. New coach Vrabel and Drake May taking a step forward, so it could be good. Braylon Allen, Kendre Miller. I would say it's a weak running back room, unless you imagine McCaffrey being a stud. Then it's fine. Otherwise, and it's fine. The wide receivers are the star of the show. Stacked up Puka, Marvin Harrison, got a JMO, got a Tet, Juwan Jennings, and then just took a bunch of swings. I'm trying to think where else I would want to go with wide receivers that I didn't get to with all these rookies. Like who? Jaden Higgins, Ellick, and Torrey. What would I replace them with? Maybe a running back somewhere along the lines. But overall, I think it's a strong room where I'm going to be flexing Tet, Jameson, or Juwan Jennings a good amount of the time. Or I guess Tet and Juwan Jennings really flexing them a good amount of the time. Tight ends, Johnny Smith, Tyler Higbee, Jatavian Sanders. Got one of them stacked up. The other two, not crazy about. Potentially could have punted tight end a little bit and taken a running back in this range. So that's something to think about for the next draft. Let me jump into Green Bean's room and back into the draft board and look at Green Bean's team. So he's in the 12 spot. And I will say thanks everyone who's in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here, hanging out. After I review Green Bean's team, we're going to check out and see what's going on Fast Draft and see if there's a potential we could jump into a draft room there. I'll do it on my phone, and if it looks like it's gonna be close to filling a draft, I'll stream it and we can watch that. Those only take about like 8 to 10 minutes to draft, so it'd be a little intermission before our next big board. We're gonna do one more big board tonight, so stay tuned. Make sure you're liking the stream, sub to the channel, and follow me on Twitter too, and then you'll know when I'm going live. Planning to keep drafting all best ball summer, so typically I'm doing late night streams, toying with some other ideas for my schedule, but appreciate y'all. Really like the team overall. Huge upside. Sweet. Yeah. Green Bean, 2693. Herbert Penix team. I like it. It's bold. It's 2 pocket passers that could hit. Totally hit. And I know they're already stacked up with your first 2 picks, which were Drake London and Ladd McConkey. Got a Chase Brown, who I'm actually in on. Hampton, I'm way in on. Henderson, I like. So this is a really good looking running back room. Double dip on Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. That's pretty sweet. Gets Tyler Algier, who's also stacked with his quarterback. So, I don't think the Chargers will take one of these guys, obviously with Najee now, but that's a good looking running back room. You took 2 quarterbacks so you could have a deep wide receiver bench, and I think you're showing that here. Devo's a good pick. Could be a great pick. It's Amika's a fun one. Trey Harris is a fun one. Diami Brown. People forget what he did in the NFL playoffs. He had a great stretch. Isaiah Bond, hook 'em baby, and Jack Besh, Devon Vele. So a lot of upside. He took a bunch of rookies, wide receivers like I did too. Cole Kmet, Tyler Conklin stacked, and then Theo Johnson. So that's kind of what I like to do. I mean, this is like a late 3 tight end build. I went much earlier taking Johnny Smith, which didn't really fit my team great looking back on it. So maybe next time I take a running back there and then punt tight end like Green Bean did. Solid draft, my man. Good stuff. Herbs has some potential running upside too. Yeah. I think he does. As he gets older, I wonder if he starts to kind of run a little bit less, but it's in his nature, and he's not old. He's definitely not. So 100% agree. You got the lefty Michael Penix who can light it up. Yeah, anytime, man. Thanks for being here drafting. Here's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna throw on a little bit of some music for a sec. Oh no, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's premiere the intro one more time. I don't know how many of y'all were here for it, but here comes my newest intro, and then I'm gonna throw on some music. Check out the fast draft. Actually, I'll look at the fast draft while the intro is playing, so that we can double multitask. Let me see what fast draft looks like, and then if the room's gonna fill, I'll stream it. If not, I'll pull out. We'll do another big board immediately. But appreciate y'all being here. Check out my new intro. Tell me if you like it. But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like actions speak louder than words. Yeah, Green Bean got a nice squad there. Yeah, so what do y'all think about that intro? I just put those highlights together today in some spare time. It was kind of fun doing it. So, was it too loud, etc., etc.? Are you feeling hyped up? Are you ready for another draft? Because I checked out the Origins draft, and I'm not gonna lie, there was 5 left to fill it, and I don't feel confident we can do that very quickly. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, just a little creative side project, just getting back into some video editing. It's been a couple years since I've done something like that. So spent a couple hours during lunch today just hanging out around the house and putting something together. Finished it up as I was watching a movie with the wifey to round out the night. Got the kids down for bed. Everyone's asleep. I got the dog here with me chilling. My dog's sleeping in the corner, and it's time to draft. So intro is lit. Hell yeah. Okay, we're digging the intro. I'm gonna save the other surprise, which I think a lot of y'all saw already, for the next draft, because I've got something that I'm gonna start building on, but I've got some other hype clips that we can pop out and get into. Okay, without further ado, it's time to draft another big board. Counting it down, and let me do one last thing real quick before I get into it. I'll count it down for like 10 seconds because there's a little bit of lag in the stream. I'm just going to retweet myself really quickly one more time. Let everyone know if anyone's laying in bed awake thinking, looking at Twitter thinking, hey, maybe I should be drafting right now. Did I? I thought I already. Okay, one sec. I thought I already had done that. Yeah. Starting. Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, got it. Okay, I did it on the other tweet. Okay. So yeah, make sure you're following me on Twitter at FFB Garage, because other than just promoting other cool content and other best ball stuff, I really just am using that to let everyone know when I'm going live, because I don't have a fixed schedule on when I'm going to stream it yet exactly, just kind of late at night most nights. But if you're following me on Twitter, you'll at least kind of see that message go out. I'll try to give a little bit of heads up for when I'm going to be drafting and going live. Pump fake me out of your next draft. Oh, good luck, sir. Oh, shit. My bad. Yeah, my bad on that. I'll try to always give it at least a little bit of a countdown. I know there's some lag, but dang. My bad on that one. Let's... You can always multi-table if you're a real savage, but no. Appreciate you being here. And good luck in your draft. Let us know how it goes. I'm going to start this one in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Waiting for 8. I probably could have expected that if Green Bean had just gotten into the previous draft. Rip. Stealing my countdown? Get out of here. Hey, yo. Hey, what up, Tyler? Thanks for checking out the stream. Hope you're having a great Saturday night, my man. Hope your neighbors aren't keeping you awake, doing weird things in the windows. And yeah, go Cougs. I know you're probably watching that game. What a nail biter at the end there. Woo! That was sick. Hearing from my lawyer. Oh, did you hear that? My dog just ran across the room. He scared her with this lawyer talk. Knocked down my freaking mood lighting. Did you hear that? My dog just like ran across the house scared. Poor thing. Don't be coming in here threatening my dog and my stream. Stealing your countdown? Man, come on. Get out of here. You know what I am stealing though? Check the intro. 3, 2, 1. Like, overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like, actions speak louder than words. Like, if that doesn't make you want to draft the best ball team, I don't know what will. Get hyped. I've got another treat stashed away, a little hype video for a certain player that we showed during the last draft that gets you real hyped up too. But yeah, just a little thing I put together for the stream. I have Florida and Houston futures. Hell yeah, man. Believe. I remember you were saying you were pretty big on Tech too. I was sad to see them go out. My brother went to Tech, and so I always pull for the Red Raiders. And yeah, I spent a few years going to school at U of H after I wrapped up at Texas, and I live in Houston now, so always pulling for my Cougs. Tyler was in here earlier. Emo Cowboy Tyler was in here earlier. Quinshawn, I'm in. Isn't that a sick Quinshawn clip? Oh, yeah, I've been a Quinshawn fan for a minute. Still waiting on 7. I'm kind of surprised. Do I need to refresh? Is this really happening? Waiting on 7 here? I think I was the last one to fill my draft, but got the 102. Dang, yeah. Rest in peace, Green Bean. Catch you next draft. Green Bean had just drafted in the big board before this, but I pump faked him out, and he missed the countdown. I hate to see it. But yeah. Yeah, man, that's a crazy finish to a game. U of H coming back from the dead. How are we waiting on 6 people? What are people doing at midnight central on a Saturday night? Why aren't they out here drafting best ball? People are out at the bars, having fun, doing things, watching Netflix. God, get your phone out and draft a freaking best ball squad. Hey, Anthony, what up? Maybe Anthony's going to stop by the stream. We'll see. Just retweeted me. Appreciate that. Hey, there he is. Literally called it. Candyman in the overflow now. No, I faked you out too. Damn. Can't believe I'm awake. What? Oh, Central Time? I mean, it's Saturday. I don't really sleep much. I've got a newborn at home, and I have not been sleeping at all. So I don't really. I don't sleep these days. Damn, I can't believe I missed you, Anthony. I'm sorry about that. The overflow. It must have been the underflow. This draft hadn't even started yet. Usually it's the opposite. Usually guys miss this stream because it fills too quickly. I'm faking people out. We filled a sick room with Anthony and Green Bean right before this, and now we can't fill this one. Oh, I think the Green Bean room filled. Now your overflow. Yeah. Oh, Candyman in the overflow. Yeah, I'm in my own overflow, 100%. Yeah, get in here and stream, or get in here and draft with this stream. Let's fill this room. Waiting on 5 people. We're going backwards. Damn, hate to see it. What are people doing? What are people doing? Mm. And what's crazy is my last 2 slow drafts just wrapped up before it's kind of the intro into the stream. One of them was one of my big albatross drafts. I maxed the big albatross, that last pick I just made tonight. That was one of my slows, and then I had one other random big board that for some reason I slowed that wrapped up with the pick, a little bit earlier, so I'm free of all slow drafts. I don't think I have a single slow draft going right now, which feels nice. It's been a while. I've had slow drafts going for feels like months at this point. This is crazy though. Can't fill a big board. About a couple minutes in, might have to throw on some music and just kind of chill until it fills up. Let me think. What kind of vibes? Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it filling. No, I think. Oh yeah, I think yeah. I got you. Just multi-table. It's more efficient. Yeah, come on, multi-table. Give us that sweet EV. Speaking of like for the contests that are less than $10, I can't help but multi-table those. And I'm not saying that to like sound weird or like brag about it, but it's just more fun because you make picks that kind of rapid fire, especially if you're doing like a palm or something that's those little one-off time capsules. I just multi-table those and get them over with. Puppies are different. Puppies, there's along the line. Those are big tournaments. The puppies, not always, but things like the poodle. Oh my gosh, there was 2 years ago for the 2023 season, and actually, it was the same night that Pat was drafting. He did 7 poodles at a time, and I was in like 3 of those rooms. I was doing like 3 at a time. It must have been a poodle that was like dropped and closed in like 24 hours, but that was wild. BBG would love to do an Alba. I was wondering, I haven't checked YouTube. I'm surprised BBG wasn't live earlier. I bet you he's live now if I check. He's back live. Is he? I don't see him. I'm not seeing it pop up on the top of my queue. Yeah, but if anyone wants to smoke, I mean, come do an Alba. I've got 7 left before I max. All right, I'll just keep bragging on myself. I'm going to take down the Alba this year. Bars on Saturday night, how lame. I just cleaned the cat litter box and took out the trash. Hey, brownie points. Wifey's going to love that. Cat litter box. Take out the trash. You're a man after my own heart. That's all I ever do. Take out the trash over and over and over again. Walk the dog. She's over there. She passed out. I don't know why. I don't know if y'all heard that earlier. She sleeps right there in her little bed. Darted across the room. I tripped her up on my extension cord that's never usually there. Didn't anticipate it. My little mood light. And she wiped it out. Ran across the house. Passed out in the walkway. Got to start JJ Lucky JSN. Okay. That's a pretty good start. Thanks for the update. It sounds like your draft's going swimmingly. This one hasn't even filled yet. I don't know if you're just listening or if you're looking too, but we're having issues filling a big board. It's bizarre. Same here. I'm multi-table most entries under $5 and some time boxes. Yeah, I think you kind of have to if you're doing serious volume. And another way to explain it is like it's kind of to do like a $3 draft. It's been an hour drafting it. Kind of like you just do like 2 or 3, get them done. I don't know. It just depends where you're at. If you're a sophisticated auto drafter and you're just throwing in your ranks and letting the plane go, then you can do as many as you want. But if you're actually paying attention, trying to make stacks and correlation, those other small ones is pretty fun. All right, let's kill the music. Let me know if that was too loud too. I've been kind of messing with the volume a little bit. All right. Who we got? The hell? I don't recognize a single name in here. Fots. Got a fart from Boston. Neil. Never seen that name. Pennywise fight. Baby Gorilla Wood one. Okay, maybe we're getting all the drunkies coming back from the bars on the East Coast. Trying to follow these drafts. I'm at 7. What? DMH09. I don't know how I didn't know that. Okay. Harmon's at 7. This feels good then. There you go. What was that? Can you believe how long it took to fill that one? That's the longest I've ever waited to fill a big board. I think this entire offseason. But let's get it. Let's get after it. I'm a little bit scared that the guy I want. Oh, shoot. I had the 9 pick in the last room. I was 9-16 in the last room. I'm a little bit scared that you know who's not going to be there at 16. But I'm still going to roll the clip regardless of who drafts him. So good luck to all. Good luck, Hartman. Let's get after it. Let's have ourselves a draft. I'm going to change up a little bit on this one. Oh, he takes Neighbors. I would have pivoted to Neighbors easily. First, I need to check my I queue up BTJ and there he goes. Let's just do a Nico team. Nothing new here. Yeah. Let's get this one started. Brian Thomas going before Nico. That's fine. I mean, I've said this before. I think when you get past CeeDee Lamb, the other first round wide receivers are pretty much in a tier for me. It's like Malik, BTJ, Nico, Puka, Amon-Ra. Maybe you could throw in London. Maybe you can throw in AJ Brown. But that's kind of like the tier that I think of. Dang, Genty goes at 13. For some reason, I thought there was a chance he would fall to 16. Genty hasn't been falling to 16 for weeks now. Let me know what y'all think. If you've been seeing Genty going anywhere near pick 20 or even like 18, 19 as he was just a little while ago. But Brock Bowers, the Puka Brock Bowers start is a fun one. That's a good combo. I might have gone Brock Bowers there. Give me some AJ Brown. Grown-ass man. Can do it all. Obviously I could go Drake London or Ladd McConkey there. Take one of these other running backs. Maybe even Tyreek Hill is kind of an interesting pairing for Nico. One of my favorite pairings last year didn't work out, but AJ Brown in the first and or Nico in the first. But then, yeah, pairing those two together kind of at the turn, I thought was a really savvy way to start last year. AJ Brown missed some games. Nico missed a ton of games, so they didn't work out. But in honor of Ashton Genty being selected 13th overall pick, let's wait for Hartman to make his selection. He's going Neighbors and London. I like that. I don't think I've seen a lot of Neighbors London, actually. That's a pretty fire start. Like you can go a long way with those two, and then building out the rest of your draft. Like I say, if you start with 2 wide receivers, you're kind of looking for that like nuts combo, getting that CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra from a few years ago, that kind of fun start. And then it gives you a lot of liberty to do something like elite QB, take another running back or 2 kind of earlier on, or even elite tight end. So let's roll the Genty clip. Check this one out. My favorite part there is when he's doing like the Macarena with his squad, with his boys, the linemen. God, that's got to be like the best feeling. Scoring a breakaway massive tutty and then doing the Macarena in the end zone with your boys. Take me back. Take me back to college. Okay. AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Lad McConkey. All those guys feel like really good round 2 picks. JSN's pretty fun. Genty always gets me hyped. Yeah, I made it a point to stay up late and watch those Boise State games all season during the fall because they were playing in crazy places. Like there was one away game that was in Hawaii, and the game started. It must have been 10:30 p.m. Central. I don't know what that was Hawaii time, but it was still sunlight out there, and I was like falling asleep on the couch watching the first quarter, but had to keep waking myself up to catch Genty do these breakaway runs, bust out of a tackle, busted 3 tackles in a single run, like those kind of eye popping uh, big plays that he can produce. So fun to watch. So I'm in on Genty. I need to get some more Genty. I've got, what was it, 14% exposure, but I want even more. I think if anyone can have a Saquon style season as a rookie, it's going to be Genty. But don't want to get too ahead of my skis with Genty. We'll see where he lands. It could matter a little bit. Honestly, probably not though. Probably won't matter too much. T. Higgins going, that would have been sweet. Hartman, if you would have got Higgins there, I would think you would like Higgins. McLaurin keeps freaking going at pick 25. Exactly what happened in the last room. I was the 9 hole. I wanted McLaurin at 33. He doesn't fall there. Goes at 25. I have zero chance now of getting Jaden Daniels stacked up in this room with McLaurin. That's like on my bingo card. I want a Terry Jaden Daniels stack. I've only gotten a couple so far. It never works out in my rooms. Don't know what's going on. Genty is fun. Pat, did you see that clip? Did you see that intro clip, my new intro that I showed that to you? Did you see the Genty clip? Oh, you know what? When we were like waiting +5 forever for this big board to fill, I should have reached out to the Discord and tried to grab some pounders to come and join this room. What do we wait 5 minutes for this big board to fill? Unheard of. What are people doing with their lives on a Saturday night? Why aren't they drafting big boards? Appreciate you, my man. Hopefully I don't get struck down by the YouTube algorithm or whatever for showing clips. But it's fun. It's fun putting that together. I'm gonna try to do a few more players. Nico would be a fun one for clips. Brian Thomas, Neighbors would be sweet to do. Who else would be fun? Obviously, you could do Derrick Henry. He's got like a year's worth of clips. Wow, and Jaden Daniels goes kind of early too. Okay, Hampton is the pick, or is it Chase Brown? And then, starting with Nico, I would wait for Mixon. AJ Brown, there's Smith could be an option there. I could go Jalen Hurts. Do I go Jalen Hurts? Do I do it? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on Jalen Hurts. It feels weird not taking Jalen Hurts there. I don't know. Because that's there's no way he comes back around. I honestly maybe I don't really like the range that you have to take AJ Brown and Devonta Smith together because you're never really going to get Hurts to fall. People will take a naked Hurts. Chase Brown, I need some more exposure to. It's tough right now because he's going in this range right with Omari and Hampton. And I'm trying to get more Hampton too because it's been tough for me to get Hampton even in the 40 spot, even in the middle of drafts. Hampton's kind of going closer to this 3-4 turn. Not going to be surprised if by Best Ball Mania, Hampton is a round 3 staple near Bucky in front of Brees. I mean, in front of Kyron. Kyron seems like a value too. I wish I was doing a little bit more Kyron builds. This could have been a Kyron build. I was actually between him and Adams, but just felt like taking Adams. It's been a while. a lot of my Adams teams are with Adams having a much higher ADP. So now that Adams is down here, I still want to sprinkle him in every now and then. Want to click Genty, but I like other RBs later, and high-end wide receivers just seem so important at the 1-2 turn. I mean, that's a really solid point. What it comes down for me, what it comes down to is kind of that opportunity cost. I mean, it's like trying to treat each draft as its own independent universe in a way where you're drafting as if you know you're right. So, some of these players are going to get injured. Some of them are going to have down years. Some of them are going to miss games, and you can never predict that. So, if you're just always drafting the exact same guys in certain spots, you're going to miss out on somebody because there's an opportunity cost in every round. What can you take in the round that you're in that you can't get later on? And Genty only ever goes really in, at the latest, pick at this rate, pick 16, 17, 18 if you're lucky. So there's a little bit of a cost. Yeah, you can't get those receivers like you said. You can't get some of these established veteran running backs. You can't get Brock Bowers if you're taking Genty there. But to have no Genty, it is it's not as fun for me. After watching Genty play college ball all last season, I was a little bit aware of him in 2023, but like definitely not as much as last year when he's on like a Heisman run, a historical pace, and all that. So Hampton gets early first round capital. I can see him going 2-3 turn. I think he will, honestly. I think he'll go to someone like the Steelers, the Broncos in the first round. Sorry, I was covering some of the board there. The normal kind of run out, the only thing I'll say is Jalen Hurts made it all the way back to the first pick in round 5. I'm on the board and Joe Mixon just went, so that kind of hurts because he might be nice to pair with Nico. Joe Burrow fell quite a bit too. I'm probably looking at Olave here or Godwin. I think would be good for me. Ken Walker could be a good pick. Let me go ahead and grab Ken Walker. Missed it. Okay, that's fine. He could fall back. I doubt it. I'm on the fence. I mean, because it's like Travion, Kamara, equally good picks. The only reason I was going to consider taking Ken Walker there is because I thought there might be a better chance that some of the wide receivers would come back around than him, in which case I could still get Olave, Debo, or even Godwin, Calvin Ridley. I'll do a quick look at my team, right? Philly, Rams, Saints, Texans, Hampton. I'm going to assume, let me look at one of my latest mock drafts. I've got Hampton going 20 overall to the Broncos. So I feel good about that. Obviously, it could be anything. Still take Genty? Yeah, I know what you're saying, though. Totally get what you're saying there. I concur, Green Bean. I will occasionally take Genty, but I love the high-end wide receivers. I would agree. That's why it's kind of hard to take Genty, but it might become harder and harder to take him. What are you going to do when Genty is a guaranteed first-round pick? Are you going to be out on Genty? Or are you going to, take your medicine and get him every once in a while? What did Hartman do? He went James Cook and Waddle. So he's just kind of building out some skill position players. Got a nice looking squad so far. Bunch of different teams. And look, just like that, Olave was probably the guy I would want to come back the most. And then I do get Ken Walker to fall to me at pick 64 in the 6th round. That's not a bad ADP value. It's not insane, but I was kind of bummed I didn't get Joe Mixon for the Texans correlation. Now I can sit back for super, super late Derek Carr. I've already missed all these elite quarterback options. If I really buckle down and say, yeah, Hampton is a Bronco, that could be fun to go Bo Nix on this squad. Although Look at Courtland Sutton going pick 50. Some people are really in on Sutton. You see him going ahead of DK, ahead of all these guys, Addison, Waddle. It's that's probably fair. We're presuming he's the wide receiver one on his team. I think Ridley's a guy that could be going in round 5. I've been saying that. I've been drafting like it. So I've got a fair amount of Ridley. I don't have to force picking him. And you saw my exposure if you were here at the very beginning. And I'll tell you again, I've got a lot of Cam Ward. I think I was like 14% Cam Ward, which is a little bit surprising to me. I didn't expect that, but that's how you naturally get more Calvin Ridley. Or if you're taking more Calvin Ridley, you're going to naturally have more Cam Ward if you can get it. Nice. Yeah. The earlier you were drafting these big boards, the later Genty was going, right? Genty was pick 22 quite often. If you've got a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson Genty team, that's pretty sweet. That's going to be feeling good these days. I've got some with Lamb, I know, some with Nico for sure, and Puka, definitely. I've got some Amon-Ra Genty, if I can remember off the top of my head. And unfortunately, they're probably little boards if I had to guess. But okay, Khalil Shakir, what's he doing in the 7th round? George Pickens, I'm thinking when Aaron Rodgers eventually does go to Pittsburgh, he could jump up a bit just because of the little excitement. For better or for worse, or like, do you actually want Aaron Rodgers on your squad though? I don't know if I said Aaron Jones. I meant Aaron Rodgers. Luther Burden, that would have been a fun click here. Pollard goes a bit early. I think Pollard's a fun one to take though too. I mean, he's still a stud. Okay, I take Travis Hunter. It's a little early, but I think it's a good pick. Otherwise, Agbuka. I could go Hawk on this one. Let's look at some team correlation. What would make sense here, team-wise? Let's just pull the trigger. If Kupp is still there on the way back, it feels like a bad click, but am I taking Hunter over Agbuka? Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty in on Travis Hunter. I think his ADP could go much higher than this. He's a freaking baller. He's a spectacular kind of catch. He'll jump up and catch it over 2 defenders. His hands are some of the best hands we've seen in the last decade, I think. And so he's going to find ways to get open. He's going to improve his route running even further, become more refined. I'm convinced he's going to play wide receiver. Let me know what you think. Is Travis Hunter? I think I asked that in the poll today. I have to double check that. But do you think Travis Hunter is going to be mainly a wide receiver? Where's he going to land? Is he going to justify his ADP as he continues to rise up boards? I mean, Travis Hunter or Chris Olave at some point will be the question in my mind. I think we're going to get there pretty soon. I like Igbuka, though. I would take him again if he was still there at pick 88. Where did Golden went 75? We have Hartman taking Quinshawn and then Tony Pollard. I like that Pollard pick. I don't mind taking him there. He might have fallen to pick 90, but get your guys. And Pollard has the production to back it up. Okay, I've got a 2-5 build. I can chill on running back and hit it again later. I can chill on wide receiver for a bit. So really it's take a running back if I feel like they fell to me. And I don't really love any of these guys right now. I'm going to go Hawkinson. I thought for a second there about going Bo Nix, but I don't know. Without Sutton, it's not extremely exciting to take Bo Nix and then have to like backstack him. Hope you can get Evan Ingram or Mims. Although I'm in kind of a good range to get both Mims and Evan Ingram. So maybe that would have been the play to go Bo Nix there. I hate ending up with Bo Nix and all you get is like a Troy Franklin and or Vele. That's pretty disappointing. Appreciate you all being here super late at night, drafting with me, hanging out in the stream, chatting it up. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and make sure you're liking the video. Please subscribe. That way you know when I'm going live next time. You can jump in the room, draft with us, and then follow me on Twitter too, just so you get that extra notification if you want it. And if you're active on Twitter, you know, I follow back. We can talk and discuss the NFL draft coming up, some further things, and then you'll also get some alerts for like when I'm about to go live. My schedule's not really set yet. That's the thing. I've never been able to have like a super tight fit schedule that's easy to expect, but I'm working towards that. But typically just late at night whenever I can go live. Once the house is all asleep and I'm the only one up, stay up drafting. Otherwise, you catch me chilling in some other streams, drafting with some of the other homies, guys you've seen in here tonight, in the community. Best ball community, I think, is the best fantasy football community. Super, super appreciative of all the support from everyone in the community, all the other creators as well, and everyone just chilling, having a good time, going after these big prizes in these underdog tournaments. I think this is what the future of fantasy football looks like. How else can you compete for these giant prizes? It's not dynasty. The redraft leagues just can't keep up. This is the future. It's best ball, and where the gravity of best ball just keep getting stronger and stronger. It's pulling everyone in. So it's fun to see. It's fun to see a lot of dynasty bros convert to best ball bros, and you see it every year. So excited for that too. Hartman's team's looking pretty good. He grabs Caleb to stack up with DJ Moore, which is always strong. I'm big in on the Bears getting Caleb, getting some of the pass catchers, whether you're getting a Dunze or DJ Moore. It's a fun way to play it, bet on Caleb's upside. I think I saw a stat, and off the top of my head, it was either 4 or 5 touchdowns under expected that Caleb produced last year. So I don't think that's him. I think Caleb's good. I think he could be a star in this league. He's got rushing upside. He can, he can scramble. He can score and use his legs to get in the red zone. I think he's gonna have some really good fantasy seasons. So in their 8th round, Caleb's a fun pick. Bo Nix has good rushing upside though, so you don't really need a big stack. Yeah, that's a good point. I just think Bo Nix is a little expensive. If he was there at my next pick, 105, I'd definitely take him. I agree with you though. He's got good rushing upside, and he had some pretty nice passing games last year. Although he did have that one big 300+ yard passing game against the Kansas City backups. So there's a little bit of a kind of skew there. Yeah, not really in my quarterback range yet. So I'm either going McMillan or Cam, which feels fun. Maybe I can get both. I haven't got a lot of Mims yet this year, or Bateman. Let me grab McMillan. And then that feels fun. That's an upside pick. The wide receiver room is looking good. So I'm going to take a quick pause at wide receiver for a bit. Do the Saints play the Bucks in week 17 or in one of the playoff weeks? I could see that happening. Okay, so what's the hype? Is Travis Hunter going to be a Brown? Is he going to be a Giant? What do you think? Because if I try to stack either of those, I could go super late and get Kirk. But that seems like a really risky bet, assuming that not only does Travis Hunter land in Cleveland, but then also that Kirk Cousins. What did I say? Christian Kirk? I don't know what I said, but Kirk Cousins lands there too. It's kind of like a parlay bet, so it's a little bit riskier. Obviously, get Derek Carr late. Could get Stafford late. Nico, fingers crossed, comes back around. I already said Kirk already went. Christian Kirk. I had Christian Kirk in my mind because I was looking for him in the queue. He always goes before pick 100 these days. So just someone to stack up with the Texans. I'm on the clock. Scottibo's there. Marvin, Mims, and Bateman are gone. Other guys I would have potentially considered, but obviously getting McMillan, Jalen McMillions, kind of like don't really need that. Swift is interesting. I'm going to go Scottibo. Swift is interesting. Maybe a safer pick. I like Cam Scottibo. I think I can flip to it actually. I've got some numbers for Scottibo. Let's take a quick look at some Scottibo numbers that I put together. Do I have this on my other? Boom. Okay, there's the Genty numbers. His sophomore season, he had 43 receptions. That's almost 3 a game. The dude can do it all. Omarion Hampton, who I did take in this draft, 38 receptions last season in 13 games, 2.5 a game. That's plenty. For some reason, I never really fully understood this, but college teams just don't utilize running backs in a pass catching capacity very often. They don't feel like they have to. So anytime you get above 2 receptions per game in college, that's kind of my personal benchmark for what I think qualifies you for a workhorse, can do it all back. Got to have at least 2 catches per game in your best seasons. Even in his other season, he's above that. So Hampton can do it all. Scottibo. Even in his worst season, he's got 2 a game. Last year, he's closer to 3 a game. His burst score is insane. This is all player profiler stuff. There's not too much to look at here stat wise. Age 22, I will say, compared to age 21 and 20, compared to age 19 and 20. So this is why Ashton Genty is so unique. He's just much younger than any of these other guys. I do tend to kind of lean into the breakout age a little bit more for wide receiver. But I'm aware. I keep some awareness to those things. Yeah, DFS. This might sound weird because I'm a best ball guy, but like definitely through and through and a fantasy guy. But I'm not a big DFS guy. DFS is illegal in Texas, and so all of my buddies who live here who do DFS, they're doing it on illegal sites, Bovada, things like that. Sports betting is illegal. Let me clarify that. Sports betting, not, and I guess there's some crossover there, but anyways, but I'm just there. Anyways, I'm not as big into DFS and sports betting. Been trying hard to fit bear stacks in lately. I agree. Best ball parlay. Yeah. Just catching up on the chat. It's my pick. And I'm in a good spot. The unfortunate thing is that, unfortunate for y'all in this room, is that no one took CJ Stroud. I get him here. It's at ADP, but for some reason, sometimes people just grab him. The Christian Kirk drafter ended up going Justin Herbert for some strange reason. Not necessarily stacked up. Same thing with Baker. He's got Baker with Mike Evans. Okay, no, I did see that. Yeah, so unfortunate for y'all. I get CJ Stroud, and my exposure continues to ever increase with the Texans, guys. That's a fun one. I need to get a CJ Stroud hype clip. That's what I should do. I draft so much Nico and Stroud. I could have the same clip for both of them. Quentin Johnson going there a little bit early. Dak falling. And it's kind of hard to, if you don't have CeeDee Lamb, it's kind of hard to take Dak. So he can fall. You can't. It's a quarterback you can definitely push. Okay, Colston Loveland's a fun pick here, just a bit past ADP. But let me refocus on my wide receivers and think about what stacks I need to target, right? It's late guys, late guys, late guys, late. McCarthy. Okay, I'm between Colson, Loveland, and McCarthy. Two Michigan guys. Tight end, though, is a little bit less important. And he goes. Makes my decision a lot easier. Do I take a running back here, though? Do I go? Yeah, I'll Dak Ferguson. Dak Ferguson. Yeah. Dak Ferguson. He didn't get it. Yeah, Fots didn't get Dak Ferguson. He missed out on that somehow. Rookie mistake. The running backs here, no, I don't want them. I'm going to go JJ. Boom. Kind of sucks not to have Addison. Obviously, I don't have Jefferson, but not to have Addison here. I don't think I had a chance to, did I, though? Addison went 52. I got Olave at 57. Rarely these days does Addison fall there. I'm totally cool, though. JJ, he's got rushing upside. Take him stacked up with my number one tight end, who I took a bit early, right? Hawkinson. I'm going to chill on tight end this time. My mistake last draft was taking another tight end. Well, no, actually, that was the Johnny thing. I guess I didn't learn anything. I took another early tight end instead of a running back. So I took Hawkinson over Aaron Jones, Ramondre, Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne, Zach Charbonnet. And then I skipped out on Brian Robinson and Pacheco, who I'm not particularly high on. Like if Cam Scatabo goes to the Commanders with some draft capital, like, day 2, potentially, then I want Scatabo over Brian Robinson. I think Robinson's a player that could be unseated from his role. I think Jalen Warren could be unseated. I think DeAndre Swift to some extent, but I think it's a little bit overblown. Like, what's the difference between DeAndre Swift and Jalen Warren? DeAndre Swift produces way more on average each year. Is potentially better. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit weird dynamic. How much the difference between DeAndre Swift and Jalen Warren. Jordan Mason, yeah, would have been kind of a fun pick. But I go double quarterback after taking Cam Scatabo, CJ Stroud, JJ McCarthy. I would have had to take Jordan Mason where I took Cam Scatabo. So I don't know. Let's catch up with the chat. What are you guys talking about? Let me throw in a homely question. It's for Putt Daddy. Sorry, I'm just catching up to this. 14-team non-PPR keeper league. Okay, I'm following you. Second round, Kenneth Walker. Fourth round, T. Higgins. Ninth round, Odunze. Who you keeping? If I'm only keeping one, I'd probably keep fourth round Higgins, because that's either that or Odunze, right? It's definitely not Ken Walker in the second, if that's what you mean by that. Okay, I think I've got that one right. For my next pick, let's finish and answer this question. So Odunze is a fourth round pick. This is half PPR. It's a little bit different. Your league is pretty deep with 14 teams. So maybe it's Odunze. The difference between a 4th/5th round pick, maybe in some more casual leagues, Odunze is a little bit closer to, or not casual, but just not this format, not best ball. Maybe Odunze is closer to a 5th round pick, or even a 6th round pick. So then you're thinking 5th or 6th to 9th. But I mean, T is a, this is rare to see T go here in the 3rd round. I think T is a 2nd, 3rd round pick. So I don't know. That's a close one. Both those guys I like. I think the safer pick would be to save T. The upside swing would be Odunze. Joe Burrow can support wide receivers, though. The question is, what can Caleb Williams do? And then how the rest of your team kind of fits around that. But I guess these are both wide receivers, so. I didn't want to do it. I still don't want to do it. I'm going to take Algier there. I have too much Algier. I have too much Devin Neal. I could have taken Rachaad White, but he kind of sucks. The more I look into Rachaad White, it's like the worse it looks. Oh, shit. You know what it was? It's because I was like, should I take a quarterback here? Nah. It would have been Stafford, and then Stafford goes to the Puka team. I kind of messed that one up, but I didn't really need Stafford. Considering I just double tapped quarterback, I'm going to chill on quarterback. Maybe I saved myself there. I definitely needed running back, so I actually, that's all right. That one works out, and I could still get Carr late, Kirk Cousins late, / Russell Wilson, question mark. I don't think I want a tight end right now. Let me just stick with my guns, stick to my guns, get another running back here, learn from my earlier mistakes. It's kind of a dead zone for wide receiver. I mean, look, there's been 4 wide receivers in the last 2 rounds and counting. So I don't necessarily want to break that. Yeah. No, not going wide receiver. It's Neal who I have too much of, and I've already got 2 rookie running backs. I'm doing what I did last time again. I could go Rico. That's kind of an interesting pick. I don't have a lot of Rico. Maybe toss him in. Ray Davis and Jalen Wright, I don't really see how they fit to this team any better than Rico does. So let me grab some Rico Dowdle going to the Panthers. I'm much more of a Chuba Hubbard believer, is why I'm not really grabbing on a Rico these days. I mean, he's a one-hit wonder, one-year wonder. Are we chasing 2024, or are we trying to, win in 2025? I'm just not sure Rico Dowdle's that good. The thing is, I've got a lot riding on the NFC South, the Bucks, the Saints, Panthers, Falcons. So kind of interesting how that plays out. I see, yeah, and then Bryce Young had already got gone. So maybe if Bryce Young fell really far, he'd be kind of a fun one to plug in there late too. Let's jump back to the board. Shit, my bad. I left this question up, and y'all probably couldn't even see what was going on there. So let me go back down. After I take Algier, Stafford goes. I would have taken Stafford at 160. Could have taken him at 153. Either way, taking 3 quarterbacks in a row. But then I'd miss out on Algier and Rico Dowdle, who are both backup running backs. And so, yeah, maybe that was a mistake. Kind of flubbed that one. Thielen goes, Coker goes. I don't really believe in Coker too much. I mean, undrafted out of Holy Cross, had one good year, had a couple good plays, came on better later in the season, but it could easily get replaced. Rachaad White sucks. Anthony Richardson, and I say that because let me go into detail. Rachaad White was getting totally phased out, losing his touches towards the end of the season. If you look at it like on a per game basis, he was getting phased out. So Anthony Richardson goes. Dallas Goedert continues to fall in drafts. I get Rico Dowdle, kind of a rare pick for me. Hartman goes. DJ Giddens, nice pick, and Jalen Wright. Yeah, 2 good picks. And then I think you had Waddle too earlier. If I remember correctly, you're building out some bringbacks with James Cook, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Wright that could potentially bring back Drake May. So that could be good. You got Drake May stacked up with Diggs. That's a fun one to do. And then Penix in London, right? Nice. All right. Let me really catch up. Higgins, 4th Higgins, probably in my opinion. I'm thinking Higgins for now. Dak Ferguson. Yeah, okay. We got that. We got this. Hawk is a great value. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like Hawkinson. I've got him on a dynasty squad that's tight end premium, and he's been holding it down. Obviously, he was injured 2 seasons ago, kind of rode that injury into this season. Okay, the running backs really thinned out. It's been back on the tight ends and wideouts. Do I take a Blake Corum or Martinez? So Cade Otton or Zach Ertz? Yeah, I wanted Ertz. I don't have enough Ertz. Quarterback wise, I'm just kind of waiting on either Carr, Shador, Russell. I could do Dart. I could do Cousins. A lot of ugly options left, like bad options left. Maybe Quorum is a value there. That I thought about that, but I just took 2 running backs back to back. We're in round 15. I don't have a lot of Ertz. Ertz and Hawkinson, I could stop there if I had to. Obviously, I could look for Schultz later on, or I could take Schultz now. Just get my double stack with Stroud and call it a night with the Texans. So that's probably better than taking Otton here. Or do I try to make Schultz come back around to pick 201? Nah, it doesn't make a difference. There's other running backs that'll be there. I've got a fine running back room. It's nothing crazy, and it's not like Dan Martinez is going to be the big difference maker there. Maybe he is. I don't know. There's another Vikings. The problem with the Vikings is like, where do you go? So many of those skill position players go early. Where do you go late with the Vikings? I don't think you do. I think you just avoid them late. I'm going to reach on Dalton Schultz. Wrap up my tight end room with Hawk, Ertz, Schultz. 3 tight end. It could have been a 2 tight end room. I could have not taken Ertz and waited for Schultz. And maybe gone running back there. I've already got 5 running backs, so I'm not really scared that I'm missing out. I'm going to sprinkle in a few more upside picks. And I've got 6 wide receivers. I think it's time to circle back around to wide receiver. With Nico, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Travis Hunter, and Jalen McMillions. I've got maybe it's a 2 QB build. It'd be a little risky. 3rd-year Stroud, 2nd-year McCarthy, his true kind of delayed redshirt freshman rookie year, we'll call it. Let's see where Hartman ended up going. After he got Hunter Henry, he chose Gesicki. So we're on kind of this similar wavelength, going quarterback, running back, wide receiver. You got to ride the waves. Each round is kind of a different feel to it, opportunity cost, and what positions are you going to be taking that's kind of ahead of the curve or behind the curve. So that's kind of funny how it worked out for us in that way. What other teams are we watching? If I look across the top quickly, everyone's got 2 QBs. A couple teams like Baby Gorilla, Crossface, Hartman's team, Neil and Sleepy have 3 thoughts. Okay, I guess more than half the room has, or about half the room, either way, has 3 quarterbacks. Derek Carr going here at 182. I actually didn't even notice until just now. I think I saw it in the top banner go across, but like didn't really fully internalize that, which means that my option to stack with Olave is now gone. It's looking more and more like it could be a 2 QB build, or I take Jackson Dart. The problem with Jackson Dart is he's not going to stack with any of these pass catchers that I've got, including these guys. All of these QB situations are pretty figured out, except for Travis Hunter. I mean, maybe Dart goes to the Saints, but I don't really see that one as much. Hunter and Dart, but I don't think so. The talks right now, and let me know what y'all think, is that Hunter's either going to be a Brown or a Giant. It seems like maybe a Patriot. So I don't think Shador is or Dart. I don't think Shador or Dart are my options for this one. It's like Kirk Cousins. Or I guess no, it's Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins. If I did want a third quarterback, and I feel like I might need to take one. Mitchell, Horton, Kyle Williams. I'm done at tight end, so I don't need Harold Fannin there. And the running backs have dried up. Let's do Mitchell. Mitchell's a fun upside pick, kind of right at ADP here. Let me jump back down. So right before Mitchell went, Jaden Blue went, which is interesting. A player I've taken a bunch of, but get your guys in these rounds. Brashad Smith almost made it back. Damian Martinez also had gone to that same drafter. I'm really going to push it at quarterback. I don't really know if there's another quarterback I want. Maybe I'll take one of these rookies, swing at one of these rookies if they make it like further back. Hartman wanted Pitts or Komet, but just not good chances to get them. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That happens. Gesicki and Hunter are just kind of fine overall, even if they're. I mean, you got Hunter stacked up, but Gesicki just it's a fine swing. It's kind of like what I did with Ertz here. Not really stacked up, just kind of a fine pick. Okay, running backs. I can't really get a lot of correlation on these running backs. I'm going to take Horton potentially here again, or I'll go Kyle Williams this time just to mix it up. I think I will. I think I'll just stop there in round 18 with my 8 wideouts. Yeah, 8 wideouts because I just went wide receiver with Adonai Mitchell, Hook and Baby, and Kyle Williams. Getting some hype on Kyle Williams. Mm-hmm. The running back room, I'm trying to think how I can finish this one out. It's kind of like the ongoing problem if you don't go really heavily invested with draft capital into running backs in the first 6-7 rounds, and then only get one guy in kind of the middling rounds. Probably should have gotten 2 guys in those middling rounds. Could have passed up on Jalen McMillan and taken but I didn't like the options there was the problem at the time. I got 2 picks left, and I'm thinking I go running back with both of them. And just, hey, this is a 2 QB build. If this was 18 rounds, 2 QBs would be fine. AFC, NFC, the odds they're on the same bye week. But at the same time, there's injuries. Ugh, what's to do? Don't know what to do. I'm just going to throw in Dart and Cousins in case I want to pull the trigger on them. Okay, Cousins is gone. Makes it easier for me. I could draft Dart here. But like I said, I don't think he's going to go to any of these teams. I could see him going like the Seahawks, sitting out half the season. I've got Kenneth Walker. I could see him going to the Raiders and sitting out the whole season practically. Doubtful he'd go to Indy. Let me know your thoughts in the chat about Jackson Dart. Where you think he could go? If he is for sure he probably is gonna be a first round pick, right? So if I pull up my mock draft and just take another look at the first round, could he go to a team and maybe someone could trade up again into the first round to get him? Who needs a quarterback? The Steelers. Do they go with a Jackson Dart? Do they get Aaron Rodgers? I don't have any Steelers on the squad. Another team could be, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't really see a whole lot of options. Someone would have to trade into the back end of the first round, and it would have to. I mean, it would have to be like the Jets or the Browns, I guess. They could come back around, and I mean, the Browns have the first pick in the second round, so it could be there. Could be the Giants in the second pick in the second round, but I think you'd have to trade up into the first round to get Dart, is what people are kind of saying. Steelers, but with his draft stock steaming, maybe he goes surprisingly high, maybe Saints. Yeah, do I do it then here? I mean, obviously he'd have to come in late season and take over from Carr to throw passes to Olave. There's only like a couple other drafters, one here that needs a quarterback. So I'm going to push Dart. He doesn't always get drafted. And I'm pretty cool with this being a 2 quarterback build. I definitely don't want to go receiver, regardless of like a DeAndre Hopkins still being there. Or like a Savion Williams being there. I don't know. Last call for my 20th round pick. It's either going to be Jackson Dart or a dart throw running back. I could go Will Shipley. I do have AJ Brown. So there's a little bit that's kind of nudging me towards Shipley. Versus even like a Jordan James. Or Milrow for crazy upside swing. I had been drafting Milrow a little bit when the big board originally opened. I don't know why, but I was drafting Milrow and he was like a last round pick in some of those original big boards. Haven't taken him in a long time. I think Milrow's kind of bad. He could be good for fantasy, but I think he's kind of bad for as a quarterback. So, but I could be wrong on that one. Dart. It seems like Dart could be the riser, even if he's not properly stacked on this team. He could be a player that is going. Will Shipley could just continue to be undrafted. He's sitting behind Saquon. He could literally do nothing. And if Saquon got hurt, I could see them trading for a running back or signing a veteran, not just riding out Shipley. He didn't get a lot of touches at all. Jordan James is a dart throw. I've already got Jarquez Hunter on this squad, so let's call it with 6 running backs. This can be fine. I'm going to take Jackson Dart here for funsies. And who knows? I have no idea where he's going to land. So could it work out? You know, maybe he never hits the lineup, but he's my last round pick. Don't really need him to. But you want to go for upside, right? And potentially, the only other drawback is like, okay, CJ Stroud and JJ McCarthy end up having the same bye week. It's bye week 6, and Jackson Dart's not even starting by then. That would kind of suck. At the same time, neither Daniel Jones or Jameis Winston are going to be starting early season unless something changes. So the only hope would be like, you know, they have a week 14 bye, and then Jackson Dart's already taken over for Derek Carr, or maybe he's going to the Steelers and he starts for them all season, and that's just a good pick. Even though I don't have any Steelers per se on this squad, Scatavo could go to the Steelers. Hampton could go to the Steelers in the first round if something crazy happens. Maybe Kyle Williams is a Steelers type of receiver. They always seem to have a lot of a strong ability to take receivers, good receivers. I don't know. The Steelers I kind of identify as a team that can draft good receivers. Yeah, about Milrow. Totally agree. Nick Nash, that's a name you don't always see. I like that pick, Hartman. Restrepo, I think got a good value there. Harold Fannon's a great pick. I think he's going to be a big potential breakout guy. Fun fact you may have heard, Harold Fannin had more yards after catch in 2024 than Luther Burden had total receiving yards at over 800 YAC yards for Harold Fannin. He is potentially one of the most undervalued picks in the draft right now. Although he went to Bowling Green, can rookie tight ends even hit for fantasy in year one? Harold Fannin, I would say, like in your dynasty leagues, definitely be targeting this guy. I don't know exactly where he's going right now in dynasty draft, like rookie mock drafts. I think I've been seeing him go, especially if it's tied in premium, like maybe the end of the second or somewhere in the second, maybe the third. I don't know. It depends on your room. I haven't been looking in the last 3 or 4 nights at any new dynasty rookie mocks, so I'm kind of a little bit just kind of remembering back. I think the draft ended. I think we're not seeing the last pick, but I think it's over. It's the weird freeze thing. Whoa, wait, what happened here? I just noticed this. The FOTS team went with 4 tight ends with his last 4 picks: Chig, Theo, Elijah Arroyo, and Conklin. I mean, that's a bold strategy. It could work out. It's a little bit of a waste, I think, to go with 4 tight ends, but Fannin was such a beast. Yeah, Bowling Green, small school. I feel like his price is touchdown upside for most tight ends anyways. Yeah, for sure. And then if he has like actually decent reception yardage to pair with it, I mean, he could have a lot of upside is what I'm saying. Quick recap on these teams. I'll do mine and Hartman's. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate y'all all being in the chat, hanging with me, drafting me tonight. Like I said, I'm going to recap these 2 teams, my team and Hartman's team, and then I might peek back into the fast draft and see if it's 1:30 a.m. practically. I doubt we could fill a room for an Origins draft, but if possible, I would like to do more of those. And so I'm kind of checking that. Do a really, really, really quick team reviews. Let's do a 3. Mine's a 3-6-8-3. Let me throw in some music. I hope it's not too loud. Let me know if it is too loud. I can definitely turn it down a bit. Little bit of I don't even know where I'm clicking anymore. Let me okay. 3-6-8-3 build, CJ Stroud, JJ McCarthy, and Jackson Dart. I've got JJ stacked up with Hawkinson. I've got CJ double stacked with Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. Jackson Dart is literal dart throw. Running backs: Hampton, Walker, Scadaboo, Algier, Dowdle, Hunter. Not the best looking running back room. Again, Hampton, Walker can hold it down. Maybe Scadaboo is legit at the next level. That could work. The wide receivers are the star of the show in this one. I've got Nico, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave. So just that 4 alone could be the nuts that you need to get through weeks 15, 16, 17. Who knows? But I've got those. Unfortunately, I didn't stack up Devontae with Stafford or Olave with Carr. That would have been a little bit nicer than the way that I ended up going. But at least I've got Nico, Hunter, McMillan, Mitchell, and Kyle Williams. A lot of upside there too. Hunter could be, home run hit. Hawkinson and Ertz and Schultz. So overall, this is a fine squad. I mean, I'm not crazy over the moon with it. The running backs could be better. Quarterbacks, obviously could be better, but maybe Stroud comes back to form and has like his career year. Let's check out Hartman's team from the 7th spot. He drafted a 3-6-8-3 with Caleb Williams and Drake May, and Penix. So you've got 3 sophomores. I mean, I like this quarterback room. I like this squad. Appreciate that. I like your squad too. This is a nice looking quarterback room. Running backs. So let's keep that in mind. Bears, Patriots, Falcons. James Cook, Quinshawn, like I said, could be a bring back with the Patriots. Tony Pollard. I guess not as big of a reach as I was thinking. Maybe his ADP is coming down. Pollard was going later. I remember getting Pollard pick 102 consistently for a while. Every time I was drafting Pollard, getting him in that range, I was excited about it. Giddens is a great pick, right? Ollie Gordon. So this, yeah, this is pretty nice because you get that Pollard in here. I think really makes this room come together, that running back room. And no one's immediately stacked up with your quarterbacks as far as I can see. But is Judkins going to be a Bear? That's the question we want to know. Malik Neighbors, stacked Drake London, stacked DJ Moore, got Waddle, so we're leaning into the Dolphins again. Stacked Stephon Diggs, then Higgins, Strepo, and Nick Nash. It's kind of a fun one, Nick Nash. Not a guy that I've clicked yet, so cool to see some variety. Hunter Henry stacked, Gesicki, tight ends, our tight ends. We talked about Harold Fannin from Bowling Green. Don't love Ollie, but want to mix him in. Yeah, I think so. I think the thing with Ollie is other people are drafting him, and so maybe there's something we don't know. I didn't watch a ton of Ollie Gordon last year, but I know going into the season, of the college season, he was kind of hyped up and disappointed or just whatever, and so that's how that one crumbles. Oh, I was going to be checking this. Let me do a really, really, really quick check on Fast Draft to see if we can get an Origins draft. I'm only going to stick with it if there's a few spots left to fill. It's waiting on 6, and so it was waiting on 5 when we looked at it last time. Unfortunately, I don't think it would fill, so I am not going to be drafting a Fast Draft on stream tonight. Hopefully very, very soon in the future. And like I said before, if you're new to Fast Draft and you want to check it out, if you sign up and use code GARAGE, you get a $50 match, which is pretty much what all of the other creators and anyone else is offering as well. But I got my own code GARAGE. You can get a $50 match if you download and sign up for Fast Draft. I'm liking it so far a lot. I think it's really fun. They've got the Origins contest, which is rookies only, 6 rounds, 10 people total. It's PPR, full PPR, and then it's total points weeks 1 through 17. So it's a really different strategy to think through than what we're doing here on Underdog. They also have a Flex 4 contest where you're only drafting running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. There's no QBs at all, but it's the whole player pool. It's all of the rookies and the veterans. It's also 60 picks, 6 rounds, 10 people. And there's a 3rd round reversal as well, just like in the Origins draft. That one's called Flex 4. It's pretty cool. I want to do one of those on stream too. The ADP values are so different than they are here in Underdog. So it'd be something cool to like do a big board and also do one of those, show that off. And yeah, and then they also have an IDP tournament, which if you are a real fantasy football hardo and you do IDP leagues, you know anything about that, or you're just no ball and you know some of these defensive players, I think it'd be cool to it's a cool option to do an IDP best ball. So they've got that. That's Fast Draft. They are a newer platform, but it's exciting stuff. And so if you're following me on Twitter, I'll be posting some of those teams when I draft them. The Fantasyland guys, the guys over there, Zach and Badaki, they have been drafting. They do a ton of Dynasty content that I like. So I'm always chilling in their streams. And they are also drafting these Fast Draft Origins contests. And so when they go live, that's the Fantasyland channel. When they go live, they typically do 1 or 2 Origins drafts, sometimes more. And so it's a good time because they can fill rooms instantly. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for my next stream. Maybe not tomorrow. We'll see. It's Sunday. I don't know. But I want to keep the streak going, and I'll be back soon. Appreciate you all so much for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Going to throw it to my intro, which is also my outro after I finish up with these last comments. Hartman talking about Ollie led NCAA in rushing and sucked. So who knows? I know that's crazy to fall off, right? IDP best ball would probably be a huge edge if you're into it. I think so. I don't think unless we're talking like 10 years ago and I'm just taking JJ Watt. I don't really know how I would do an IDP, but I would dabble if we were on stream and we could actually fill one of the rooms, maybe I would dabble, do that. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's ride out Cougs on Monday. Hell yeah. Thanks for being here the whole time, Pud Daddy. Appreciate you all who have been in the stream all night long, staying up late, burning the midnight oil with me, drafting these teams. It's been real fun. We're 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. Let's get after it. It's best ball summer around the corner. I'm going to throw it to PC Hartman. Thanks for being in the draft in the stream. I'm going to throw it out to my intro, which is also my outro for right now. And then catch y'all next time. Later. But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like, actions speak louder than words.